You son of a bitch.
Bob, you are not in the camera.
Hit you with the drop kick, Marty Jannetty. No, I hit you with the drop kick, Marty Jannetty. No, I hit you with the drop kick, Marty Jannetty. No, I hit you with that drop kick, Marty Jannetty.
Let me do this again.
Oh, it's live, pal.
Guess the man has no time to stumble over the words, huh? We're back after an exotic vacation. That bared unexpected results, I guess I would say. We're back here on the airways. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome back into the latest edition of Hot Tag Wrestle Corner. I'm one half of your host, Rob.
I'm Clint.
As we try to get our electronics working again. We're going to start today's show with some news. Then we're going to only cover from last week, since about 2 weeks. Grand Slam from last week. That's like a pay-per-view for AEW, since they only do a regular pay-per-view every 3 months. NXT from last week, and then we'll cover this week's normal particulars going on. So we're going to start off with some news.
If anything pertains from last week, excuse me, until this week's show, then we'll mention that to go along, but our folks will just be on all this week's shows. Well, I guess we'll start with a spoiler alert. So Daniel Cormier will be the referee for the fight pit match at Extreme Rules between Seth Rollins and Riddle. Matt Riddle, my fault, he got his first name back. Cormier released this statement. The Rollins-Riddle feud has gotten very intense and personal. There's only one person qualified enough to oversee this Riddle match at Extreme Rules, and it's me. I will see you guys in Philly next Saturday. I mean, your whole feud with John Jones.
The whole screen just went white on me. I don't know.
Was kind of personal. I remember, I think at the press conference he called John Jones the crackhead, and he said, "But I beat you, I was on crack though." So I'm like, "Oh no, cocaine, my fault." He's like, "You're a cocaine." He's like, "But I beat you, I was on coke though, didn't I?" Yeah. One of the best burns of all time. As we talk about, one of our stories is talking about Ric Flair and like his whole debacle when he came back in his final match, the fake heart attack spots and all that. Well, Ricky Steamboat is announcing his in-ring return too. Next month at Big Time Wrestling, he will team with FTR against Jay Lethal, Brock Anderson, and a mystery person on November 27th. His return to the ring was first announced last month. You also had a Briscoe versus the Rock and Roll Express on that card too. Okay then. All right. Next news story. Excuse me. We're going to another quick news story. Chris Amon has reportedly exited WWE. He's been with WWE since 28. Of course, we all know the infamous, he's been involved with the implement of the sports medicine policy, wellness policy. His time is up. He was not terminated. He gave his notice a while back. He has officially retired. Of course, we all know this is the whole CM Punk podcast interview with Colt Cabana. Punk accused him of misdiagnosing an MSRA infection, refusing to remove it. He sued Punk and Cabana for defamation, saying that his reputation has been damaged. He's been harassed by fans. Of course, the jury found in favor of Punk and Cabana, and we all know what happened with CM Punk and Colt Cabana now, apparently. I mean, they putting each other, his mama getting put in his lawsuits, and CM Punk out there putting all the personal business out there. Speaking of one, I guess from one person involved in medicine retiring to another one, not really along that terms, but there have been concern about Randy Orton's back injury. Now, y'all remember the last time he wrestled, they dropped the title in the unification match on SmackDown on May 20th. At the time, he was slated for a feud with Roman Reigns on the WWE Universal Championship. Also, the rumor that they eventually turned on each other. But he was done for back injury that cost him the rest of this year. It required surgery. That's back in June. He hasn't been mentioned at all on Raw, SmackDown, the Dirt Sheet. company officials said there's a lot of concern regarding the back injury and the severity of the back injury. No word on if he underwent the surgery or not. We all know Randy Orton really ain't the best when it comes to anything online. And so that might be a major concern right there. And we all know Randy Orton kind of like had issue with his back for a long time, you know. So wish him the best on that. Jim Ross, also the Grilling JR. He discussed the Stone Cold first stunner on Vince McMahon in 1997. His reaction to how Vince sold that stunner. And he said, on the first night, he said it was going to be significant. It was in the angle we had done on Raw. Vince was going to get involved in physicality. And let's not forget the attitude between him and Austin meant. It was huge. The time was spot on. His character was spot on. Best heel we had in the attitude era. He's talking about Vince McMahon. He said Vince was going to get retribution because Vince has more soldiers in the army than Austin does, which again put the babyface in jeopardy and outman. Austin loved it. It showed he can overcome obstacles. He said that he got on Vince selling the stunner and him and Stephanie being the two top heels of the attitude era. He said he got rid for it mercilessly. He said he said I can always say I didn't take the ugliest stunner. But I admire the fact that he did. He kind of humbled himself, becoming a wrestler to a certain degree. He said Vince sold the hell out of it. So, I wonder who took the ugliest stunner ever, probably.
Vince.
Somebody other than Vince. Oh, yeah. Yeah, oh, God. I'm trying to think of some people like, yeah, Vince probably did take the ugliest stunner ever. Yeah, my news story's going down kind of fast. That's a kind of good thing. Jim Cornette. I don't like Jim Cornette at all. Like, I personally can't stand him. But he knocked WWE for not re-signing Saraya, who is Paige. I agree with him on this, but at the same time, again, it's kind of like with the Vince. It was the Vince thing, but kind of what's the name? He spoke up. Spoiler alert. Sorry.
Oh God. Good.
I was going to spoiler alert for your story, your show review. That's why I said.
Oh, good.
So she was on a Grand Slam, and he says he can't believe they didn't resign her. He said the place went ballistic. As soon as she came up on the screen, the place went ballistic. I don't know if they would have cheered. That would happen to WWE building because none of the WWE fans have known probably what Paige's real name was. It was well made and most devoted. I kind of disagree with that. I think a lot of people, he got a point in terms of most devoted people probably knew her real name. But again, I mean, you watch Total Diva. Did she ever use her real name on Total Diva? I don't think she did.
Her mother has the same name now, so I'm sure the name was uttered at some point in time.
Yeah. But these fans, they are the smart ones, and they knew it was Paige. And boy, the place came apart. Heel bailed out the ring, and the fans went crazy. Paige walked into the ring, smiled at the people, and that was it. If she been cleared to wrestle, then why did WWE let her get away? She's not with Alberto Del Maniac anymore. She's not having public meltdowns. So why wasn't she cleared to wrestle? If she could, how did WWE let her get away? This man was always concerned about her wrestling again. That's why she got away. She got away. You have to be a complete lunatic to sign a wrestler under them circumstances without having them check to see if they can wrestle. So what's going on here? I'll tell you one thing. If Paige paying close attention to the mat, she got to be thinking, holy fuck, this is worse than the shoot. I don't want to get involved with these people. So, another news story, and before we cut into some of yours, and then I got one more before we head to the major news we're going to close out with. It's a lot of, so Sasha Banks apparently, Twitter, she recently changed her name to her real name, and
so she's not going back. I know they're trying to get her back.
No, this is the way I look at it. I feel like
and what about Naomi? Is Naomi going back? Are they going to go ahead and add her to the bloodline now? Because to me, before you continue with this, let me run off at this point because it's on my brain. It's like the missing piece. you added everybody. It's at its quan. If you add more people now at this point, you're going to become like NWO bloated a little bit. You got a cat that's running NXT somewhat. You got the tag champs. You got the world champs. You have all the belts. All you would need is the women's. It's the only thing you missing. So why not bring over her, Tamina? And I figured she's more believable to Tamina because then she was actually a former champion. And she can at least tie in how they've been treating her recently. It would only make sense, right?
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
That's not what they're going to do, though.
No. I get what you're saying. I mean, I think in matter of time, I think Naomi, they should have a female bloodline member. It should be Naomi. You can do both Naomi and Tamina if you want to. I mean,
yeah, that's true.
Let them rough shot and take the tag belt. But I think people are overreacting because I think we put on this last week, like, she's focused more on like her outside projects now. You know, she's doing apparently she's dropping the CD, she's doing movies, she's doing acting, modeling, and all this. And I feel like it's more her using her real name to get her exposure out there. Spare people saying, "Oh, it's Sasha Banks from WWE." I get it. She dropped it like she still got. It don't say at WWE Sasha Banks. It says Sasha Banks, but it still had WWE. Like, what's the name to it? She changed her real name. She said new handle, same handler, money bag emoji, blue heart emoji. And of course, the fans started all of a sudden started speculating, talking about, "Oh, we know you will never betray." Somebody said we know you will never betray WWE Universe and go to AEW. Somebody said we love you with any name, boss, whatever you do, whatever, it doesn't matter to me. I'm just gonna keep calling you guys. Like, it was basically people like giving their takes on it. Of course, remember this go back to the interview with Triple H where he said, "Time will tell, time will tell." I think in a lot of ways, communication breakdowns are terrible, and it's a communication breakdown for whatever reason. Starting back up with bad communication. It's not a difficult process, but it can be a process, and you have to go through the process. So, again, it seems like Triple H he's trying his damnedest to get both of them back, but at the same time, I mean, it's going to be hard because there's a lot of bad blood that's been like, you know, like, even though somebody else is in charge, but especially Naomi, like how many times she got shitted on? Shit on the course of run, so at the same time, I understand. So, that's a couple of my news stories. I got one more, but we let you get into some of yours. So.
Alrighty. We'll save the largest one for last, obviously. The man deserves his flowers, so we'll wait on that one. But I'll start with one you said I probably should have cut, but I'm going to go with anyway. So recently, Buff Bagwell's been having some problems, and Jake Roberts is concerned about him. On the latest edition of DDP Snake Pit Podcast, Hall of Famer, WWE Hall of Famer, addressed the former WCW wrestler Buff Bagwell's recent struggle, As previously noted, Bagwell had reportedly moved to DDP's accountability crib to get help with the issues with addiction. In August update, DDP revealed Bagwell had checked into the rehab. Roberts spoke about Buff Bagwell during the podcast. Here's some of his thoughts. Roberts on his concerns for Bagwell. Quote, "I know when Dallas and I would have our confrontations, I knew the bottom line. And the bottom line was, if I leave here, I'm dead. So to argue points, but wouldn't push it so far to get run out of there. I wasn't afraid to drop down on my knees and say, please, if I had to. This is how serious I was. And I hope Buff is taking the same way because this is your last chance. Marcus, if you don't make it through this, you'll be next one we bury. Don't want that for you or anybody else. On the tough thing about mentoring people who are struggling, quote, I enjoy mentoring people and helping people that are still struggling. I do that a lot. Tough thing for that is that not to get emotionally concerned to that person because their sickness will wind up hurting you. And that's something that I have to be careful of. So we'll see what happens with Mr. Bagwell. He was formerly a gigolo also. Andrade posted a tweet earlier this week saying free El Idolo. He had a more fuel to the fire and there's rumors that he wants to leave AEW. Posted a brief video of him on the beach with a hashtag free El Idolo. And he posted an hourglass emoji earlier this week. There have been rumors that Andrade is unhappy and wants to leave, but this is the closest confirmation we've had yet. It was reported on Tuesday that Tony Khan has decree that no one will be released from their contracts until their contracts are up. I felt it might be the same way. It was like, don't sign a deal if you ain't gonna complete it. Go along with that, apparently Jose, the assistant, writes a goodbye message to Andrade El Idolo. He's been putting his career line in the match next week against Dark Order 10. We're putting his mask on the line. Meanwhile, Andrade El Idolo has been putting tweets out suggesting his dissatisfaction with AEW, as we spoke of. The Free El Idolo quote he had earlier this week on Andrade's sister Jose posted a message on Twitter thanking Andrade and supporting him whatever his choice he makes next. Jose wrote, "You are one of the best ring competitors. I'll learn a great amount working alongside you. You bring me to hashtag AEW and I stand by your side whatever choice you make next. Thank you for everything, Manuel Andrade." So we'll see what happens with that next. The reason why Miro's been gone recently, filming TV show. He's going to be on this show on CBS called East New York, which premieres tonight. It's a police show, and he's playing a character named Nikolai Dushkin. So if anybody been wondering why he hadn't been in a recent title tournament or whatever, that's why. Rob Van Dam is releasing a new cannabis brand in California. Rob Van Dam set to launch a new RVD cannabis brand in Cali. Grateful USA announced on Thursday that they signed an exclusive licensing deal with the WWE Hall of Famer to bring his cannabis products to California. You read the full announcement below, where it says, and they have a distribution deal. Innovative California-based cannabis tech company and cannabis distributor today announced that they entered an exclusive licensing agreement with WWE Hall of Famer, wrestler, and cannabis pioneer Rob Van Dam to bring his branded cannabis products to the California retail market. RVD, professional wrestler, running down his background. I'll read this last part of the quote. Bradley J. Uris, Grapefruit CEO and co-founder, commented, quote, "Our industry has matured over the past several years, and the maturation has fundamentally focused on the success in the retail marketplace around effective product branding. There is a lot of competition for product shelf space in retail stores. Retailers look for the brands that are likely to generate most sales, and the well-known cannabis brands are the ones that consumers will choose. Our strategic partnership with Rob Van Dam and his team is a natural fit. Rob is a cannabis pioneer with a large and loyal following. His cannabis brand RVD has the advantage that the other cannabis products lack and fits the new Cannabis 3.0 environment, which is all about creating exciting and popular branded cannabis and hemp-based products. We look forward to expanding our footprint in California and eventually nationwide, bringing the highest quality RVD cannabis products to California cannabis consumers and patients who need to enhance their health and well-being. Grapefruit's plan for transitioning into science-based cannabis tech company remains unabated while we capitalize on Cannabis 3.0 in California." Speaking back on Jake Roberts once again. Apparently he's almost finished with all biography, and I'm dying to read it because I bet it's going to be amazing. And that's why I brought this story up, because I know it's going to be awesome and be funny as hell.
You got to talk about Leonard the Wrestler. You got to talk that promo. What's it?
Say the promo again.
I'm trying to remember it. No.
Go play back. Come on. You got 21, I got 22. He's talking about how he cheated everything.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so first of all, it was first he was like,
it was because he was fucked up. That's why.
He said,
he was lit.
He said, "You want to play blackjack? You got 21, I got 22. He said, "You want to play ace and ace?" He said, "I got 2 of those too." And they start chanting DDT. Bro, you all right? And then he got to the crowd. He started like feeling on. He had to took the female hand and like had to start like rubbing on his chest and everything. And then like he like started fouling with the snake. It's like, oh god.
Then when he acted like the snake was like his dick and shit.
Yeah. They had to change the match up.
He's like, yeah.
They changed the match up on the fly. It became a tag match with Yokozuna, who's like 600 fucking pounds. He looked out of shape as fuck. The whole shit was a clusterfuck.
Wow.
And then the show ends with him basically like chasing people out with the snake, following the snake again. He tried to kiss the snake one time. That was bad Jason
Wow.
Snake though. Like when he was like on this.
Well, in the latest edition of the DDP Snake Pit podcast, the Hall of Famer Jake Roberts revealed he's almost done with his autobiography and it'll be nearly finished within the next month. Robert said to Conrad Thompson on the project, quote, in fact, I snipped one of your guys. He's done a bunch of research for me. I paid him well, and he got me the information I needed, so I can tell you that I'm going to be finishing the book within the next month. Robert says the autobiography about 600 to 700 pages long. Excuse me. He added that the book is, quote, is doing it all on my own. I'm paying my way through the whole way through. I'll buy as many books as I can, and then when I sell them off, I'll buy some more, and then I'm going to give my book away. We're going to be looking to about 600, 700 pages. So that should be interesting. Can't wait for that. I hope he has plenty of stories from his time in Mexico, because some of the ones I heard he talked about in Jericho were fucking hilarious. AEW Dynamite next week for the anniversary show. We're running 15 minutes longer. This is posted by Tony Khan. It'll end at 10:15 to celebrate the 3-year anniversary of AEW on TV. Hashtag AEW Dynamite anniversary show. After 15 minutes long, 2 hours 15 minutes. Battle of the Belts live next Friday at the live Rampage. That should be dope. Vice is going to air a TV-produced Vince McMahon documentary that's supposed to air next month, which should be interesting. It will cover his entire career, including his retirement from WWE after the scandal caused by the Wall Street Journal articles published about him. That was literally the extent of that story. One paragraph.
One is gonna be interviews with him, probably.
Warner Brothers Discovery reportedly tried to convince Cody Rhodes to stay in AEW. Found this interesting. Cody is now in WWE, and although he's currently rehabbing a torn pectoral muscle and was out of action, he made waves earlier this year by leaving AEW and made his return to WWE at WrestleMania. According to reports, Fightful Select, Warner Brothers Discovery spoke to Rhodes before his AEW departure and tried to convince him to stay with the company. According to WBD, Warner Brothers Discovery, there were several efforts to keep Rhodes in AEW as he had to go relationship with Warner Media due to his work on Rhodes on the Top Show and the Go Big Show. The deal WWE wasn't official until a few weeks before WrestleMania, although WWE thought it was a foregone conclusion. After Warner Brothers merged with Discovery, however, there were efforts outside AEW to see how interested Rhodes was in staying in AEW. Those who tried to contact Rhodes, including Associate General Manager and Senior Vice President of Scripted Original Programming for TBS, TNT, and True TV, Sam Linky. There was no issues on either side. Rhodes told anyone who asked that there was time to leave. It was time to leave the territory. Since Rhodes and Brandy were connected to several WBD shows, they were asked to take part in the upfronts, and there was no word if those shows were tied to AEW or both. WBD sources say they wanted Rhodes to stay, but if it wasn't a deal breaker, they also reportedly were happy with AEW, especially viewership numbers for September. Here's what I'm thinking too: those two shows, well, other than the people that probably work behind the scenes in the shows, considering one of the shows was basically an autobiography of his everyday life, and then the other one was that variety show. I'd say more towards that one than the other one, but besides the behind the scenes people, but those people on those shows basically got fired because he left. If he would have left, both of them shows probably would have had another season. And that's more money for the people on those shows. You know what I'm saying? They stay in jobs.
I'm not gonna lie.
I'm not saying you watch them.
Neither one.
If they tried to get him to stay and they tied the shows to it, apparently they must have liked them. It must have got some kind of ratings.
No, I ain't saying it didn't. I'm just saying I didn't watch the show.
Yeah, I feel you. I'm just saying, like, I don't know. I just find that interesting. Vivid, interesting.
Yeah, I think, I think it would have been like, my thing is this though, like, would it have been hell bent on him staying with AEW? Could he still work with, no, he probably couldn't because they work with USA. Never mind. It's totally different. Never mind. Got to correct myself when I just thought about that. So, I mean, it took all those people that was part of the show that got fired. I mean,
All right, I got just 4 more stories. That's it. All right, so first up, Dax Harwood says Tony Khan needs to book them more during NJPW World Quest appearance.
I had that one too. Yes.
They defeated Aussie Open during the World Quest to remain IWGP Tag Title champions. After the match, Dax Harwood got on the mic and called out AEW Tony Khan for not booking them more. He said, "Tony Khan, we still work for you. Book us, brother." FTR's last match at AEW was at All Out. They teamed Wardlow to beat Jay Lethal.
Dang.
Basically it. So see where that goes. Before we get to the funny story and then the sad story. Here's some great news. Dark Side of the Ring co-creator confirms show will continue.
Yeah, that is good news.
The arrival of Vice TV's Tales from the Territories hasn't killed Dark Side of the Ring, as Evan Husney says the later show will continue. Husney, who co-created Dark Side of the Ring, recently appeared on Talk is Jericho to promote Tales from the Territories. I'm going to have to download that episode. I'm so backed up on wrestling podcasts because I started getting into crime and sports in the last month, and my one I just got you here to Disgraceland and Hollywoodland, and I didn't got thrown off, so I got to catch up. I started catching up this week though a little bit. Anyway, but he's talking on Talk is Jericho and confirmed that talks are underway for the 4th season of Dark Side. Quote, "Oh yeah, definitely." Husney reported, "It's really interesting because when we decided to do Tales from the Territories, I said it was like making I was making it since 2019. We finally got the opportunity to do it. And then obviously when Vice picked it up, it was like, okay, this is going to occupy the space after the season 3 and really focus on this to produce it and get it off the ground, kind of establishes what it is. And so it can kind of have a life of its own eventually. We had no intentions of stopping Dark Side. He added the 4th season, and it is in talks right now. Everyone's going to hear something real soon. We're just kind of getting the machine going real soon. Stay tuned, but yeah, definitely not going anywhere for sure. It's definitely here to stay. The 3rd season premiered in May 2021 and ran through October. Hustley created the show with co-creator Jason Eisner. All right, funny story before we get to the sad one. Earl Hebner on how Andre the Giant once gave him 2 black eyes. A former WWE referee appeared on the Facebook live stream for KNS WrestleFest. Hebner shared a story on the late Hall of Famer Andre the Giant and how Andre accidentally gave him 2 black eyes during a spot at an event. Here's what he said, or highlights at least. Quote, "We're in Winnipeg doing a match of Andre. It was a spot where he was going to hold me. I grabbed him right here and he held me in the corner. The next day we flew from there to Madison Square Garden. The pressure from his hands, I had 2 black eyes. I could not referee. I couldn't see.
Wait.
From the pressure from his hands."
Jesus Christ. So you mean tell me him grabbed you like... I thought he got punched or something. Oh, wait. How strong are you?
He says, I walk up to Andre and says, "Andre, look what you did, boss." He goes, "No, not me." I go, "Yeah, you."
That's crazy. That's the end of that story?
Yeah, that's the end of that story.
All right, one more story to get to this last one. So we do these like every year. So the full PWI 500 been released. Of course, they released the top 10, but they released the whole list. Y'all know who probably number 1 is right now. It's the big dog, Roman Reigns, acknowledge him.
I don't know if they John Moxley had a better year. Roman Reigns hasn't been pinned in the grip. I get that. Moxley hadn't been pinned in the grip all throughout this year until recently won too. He went through defending multiple titles in multiple companies at the same time while holding both. In GCW's title and AEW titles, 2 different title reigns this year with that.
I don't got a problem with Reigns being number 1.
I get it.
Also, too, Dan Moxley like missed some time with some like personal issues and shit like that.
At the beginning of the year, yeah.
So probably because Reigns been like consistent the whole year. So Rainmaker, Okada's 2. CM Punk is 3. Hangman Page is 4. Shout out Bobby Lashley's 5. He had a great year too. I just think
Give me the top 5 again.
it's Reigns, Okada, Punk, Page, and Lashley.
In that order.
Yeah. Cody 6. Brian Danielson 7.
All these people are above Mox.
What's El Hiodale is 8.
Viking of the Hill.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's way I read the way they had it put on the what's the name. Big E is 9. Props Big E.
Okay. Keep going.
Gresham is 10.
I'm done. You can stop talking, bro.
Moxley is 12. He's behind Shingo Takagi, and then it's him.
Where the list starting in?
What you mean?
Like date to date. Isn't it like June to June or something like that?
No, this is
Does it say it in the article, August to August? It usually says the dates that it covers. Because it's not like calendar year to calendar year. That's why they release it in September or October.
No, I don't see it in.
Either way, it doesn't fucking matter. Are you fucking kidding me?
Let me double check. See.
He was better than half the people you named on that list last year, bro. Come on.
Evaluation period.
Yeah.
Okay. Dang, on these lists, they don't be that long. It was from July 1st, 2021 to June 30th, 2022.
So calendar year from July to June.
So.
And he was just coming off Forbidden Door at that point, literally. So June 30th, Forbidden Door was June 26th. They're tripping. All right, whatever. Fine. Okay.
I mean, this list is kind of ass. Like, the way I look at it, like, I don't know much about Jonathan Gresham wrestling that much during the course of that time, but he had been like all over the world.
Yeah, he was Raw ROH and all that. He also had a bunch of time off because of COVID where he didn't even chance to defend his title. And then the company was bought by somebody else. And then Moxley wrestled that whole time. Who else was on there in front of him? He was better than Shingo last year. Shingo didn't even hold the title last year. I love Shingo. I'm just being real. I can see Okada on that list. I don't know above Moxley, but I can see Okada on that list. Okay.
Okada on there.
I can see Hangman on that list. I don't know if it's better than Moxley's year, though. In that calendar year, he was champion, though. I do get that, but he dropped that bitch to Mox.
Who?
Hangman.
Oh. I think probably because of the fact that he probably got past the whole. I don't know how they
Maybe they discounted him because he had took some time off. He had took off like 2-3 months during that stretch, and still had a beast ass stretch.
Yeah,
Still went like unpinned for like over a year or so.
He has. I mean, but
He just got hit pinned. Jericho was the first person to pin him in a singles match since like almost 2019. I'm dead serious. That came out of Tony Khan's mouth himself. He said that shit at the Scrum.
Didn't he get pinned by Punk though?
That was the only pin.
Oh, you said Jericho.
Oh, I said Jericho. Sorry, I meant to say Punk. I meant to say Punk. I'm sorry. I don't know why I said Jericho. Maybe no. Maybe Jericho was the last one to do it then. Maybe that's what I'm thinking. I don't know. But they said 2019 though.
Probably was.
In the singles.
I mean, they had Punk above him.
I could kind of see that one.
They had Lashley above him.
Nah. No, well, he have his world title reign during that stretch. All right, I kind of. It's
I'm not about to hate
middle of the road for that. I'm not hating on Bobby.
I'm not about to hate on him.
All right, go ahead.
I'm not about to hate on Big E. Like,
I love you, E. I'm hating. Yeah, Mox, better year. Sorry, period.
He had
This man missed time with his neck thing, so that makes it even on that one. And if you look at that way, you cross both times out. Mox had a better year.
Let's see who else I missed on this list. Okada, Punk, Page, Lashley, Cody Rhodes was 6. Yeah, I give you Moxley over Cody Rhodes on that one. Yeah, I don't know how Cody Rhodes is high. All right.
I love Cody.
He was sporadically wrestling during that time. Was he like wrestling?
Yeah, remember he took time off, signed that contract with a new company? I love Cody. I'm just being real.
Then you said L, was it
Viking or Hill.
Yeah.
He is a AAA. I mean, I'm not shitting on AAA, but how much do you really see AAA? Like once, twice a year, 3 times a year if you're in America? Maybe.
I feel they probably wrestle all over the world, though, I'm assuming. Right?
I guess.
So, I mean, I don't really know much. I don't know much about them, to be honest.
I don't know about that one. Go ahead. Then the last one was Gresham.
Gresham. The Reigns was one.
That's the only super legitimate one I can't argue. Every other name I can argue, but like for real, other than maybe Punk. Other than that, like for real, all right.
I mean, some of these names.
Y'all tripping. My man Mox been on the fucking tear. And he's been wrestling some of the best at that too. It's not like his list of competition is better than a lot of other people on this list to me too. That's the thing about it.
Yeah, MJF was 16 on this list.
Should be way higher.
Rollins was 17.
Probably.
I feel like Rollins should be higher.
Should probably be higher.
Rollins get punched out because he lost the most fight during that busting name. Cole was 18.
He's been out for a while.
I probably put Cole a little lower than 18. Your boy was 19 on Mega.
He was out for a while.
McIntyre should have been higher. McIntyre, I don't think had the titles during that run. Or that kind of look.
You got any more good ones off of there? Because if not, I'm gonna get into this one because the next story is kind of long. It's kind of long.
Jericho was 22.
Mm-hmm.
Jay White was 23. Your boy Ospreay was 27. Your boy Kingston was 40. Murder Grandpa was 44. Allen was 45. Shinsuke 46. Randy Orton was 47. And we probably just leave it like right there because you got a whole bunch of people. I'm not about to go through all fucking 500. Let's see who was 500 though. That's the shit to get on.
Mm-hmm.
Dustin Wilson, I don't know who you are. Yeah, Kathy made it at 498, 489. Yeah. Yeah, JTG made this list. He still wrestle?
I guess. Maybe he came back because Shaw died. Did you think of that, Plano?
You trying to make me feel bad. Ain't gonna work. Not gonna work. Sorry. Oh, yeah. And before we get to the last, how many on this? Yeah, Matt Cardona was 13.
I could see that. He had a good year. He deserved that.
He just wrestled very damn well.
He had a good year. He deserved that.
Okay, but that was it though. That was just some of the list right there. So.
All right, so let's get into the most important story here.
Excuse me.
Burped at the wrong time. So that's towards the end.
Can't control that.
Wrestling icon Antonio Inoki has passed away at the age of 79. New Japan creator and legend. A giant of the pro wrestling world has left us. Japanese icon who helped transform the industry has reportedly passed away. Yahoo Japan reports that the wrestling legend died at his home on Friday, Saturday morning in Japan, at the age of 79. Details regarding his passing were not reported, though Inoki has been in poor health for quite some time. Inoki left an unforgettable mark on the wrestling industry, with a career that spanned almost 40 years in the ring. He began his career in 1960 at the Japanese Wrestling Association, the JWA, under the teachings of the wrestling legend Ricky Dozen at the age of 17. If you were a follower of our old show, when we still did the Mount Rushmore, we did a Mount Rushmore of, I think it was the Japanese legends or Japanese wrestlers.
Japanese wrestlers.
One or the other, but they're both on the list. Ricky Dozen, well, at least on mine was Ricky Dozen, Inoki, Giant Baba, and I forgot who was my last. I forgot the name of the time. I think I probably said Masawa. More than likely.
Yeah, I think I had.
Because I'm a giant Masawa
both
fan.
of them on there. I think I had Ace on my list.
Yeah, it's not.
And I had Miami Toyota on my list too.
Okay, yeah. But
I show the women some love. Damn that girl.
Nah, I get it. I understand. Deservedly so. She was amazing. She had one of the greatest finishers of all time. It was just deadly. But he began learning from him at the age of 17. Before then, he had grown up in Yokohama into the family fell under difficult times in which they had to move to Brazil. Inoki excelled in sports growing up and won regional and all Brazilian championships in track and field. Of course, there was wrestling where he would make his mark. He trained under the likes of Ricky Dozan, Carl Gotch, and others, going on an excursion to the U.S. in 1964. When he returned to Japan in 1967, he partnered with last mate Giant Baba, and the two were a dominant tag team. When Inoki was fired from that promotion in 1971 for attempting a takeover of the company, Inoki founded New Japan Pro Wrestling, where he quickly grew to become one of the most popular professional wrestlers himself in Japan. He says faced several wrestling legends during his time, including Luthez, Andre the Giant, Carl Gotch, and solidified his place in history when he faced Andre the Giant, Muhammad Ali in the 1976 boxing match for wrestler fight. Now, it was legendary for his time. It was also one of the worst matches you ever seen in your life. All he did was get in the ground and kick on.
Yeah, this is not a proud moment for him.
Ali in his legs until he got a hematoma, basically. Ali was not on that shit. I think they called it a draw, but like Ali was pissed. Fight.
They did. It's fun because they did call it a draw. It probably was one of like the worst matches ever, but also at the same time, it kind of was like the first MMA match, which kind of paralleled into the UFC.
Yeah, it kind of it did. It was the early predecessor, I guess you look at it that way.
One of the most watched fights at that time too. So yeah, and in the draw, but yeah, he spent most of the 15 rounds just kicking at Ali's knees.
It was the exhibition
fight.
Landed
more than 100 kicks though.
While the fight was controversial and not well received by many, it was wildly successful and considered to be the predecessor for the formation of MMA. Inoki would continue to wrestle in and own New Japan for decades, helping to guide it to become one of the most dominant wrestling companies until it was bought by Yuke's, the video game company, in 2005. He also competed outside New Japan, winning the WWF Heavyweight Championship from Bob Backlund in November of 1979. They don't recognize that. He would lose it back to Backlund a week later, and though the loss is declared as a no contest, Inoki refused the title and it was declared vacant. Inoki's title reign was not officially recognized by WWE. Inoki faced Ric Flair in 1995 in the infamous collision in Korea. Shows that were produced on New Japan and WCW. Yes, there was a dark side about that. Do you remember that Hawk was going super racist on Too Cold Scorpio? Was it Too Cold Scorpio? Yeah, and they almost got into a fight and they finally had to settle that out. Then you also had
Scott Norton.
Scott Norton's calls were being tracked by the government.
Yeah.
He couldn't call his wife. They interrogated him. They just basically felt like they were in a concentration camp of a country, basically. That's what it seemed like. It was crazy. Inoki's retirement match came in 1998 against Don Frye, the former UFC champion. I think he was a champion in UFC. I think he fought there. Don Frye is one of the greatest MMA fighters of all time. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, Don Frye did fight in the UFC.
Thought so. Anyway, over the course of his
champion, but he fought a lot of them early like UFC tournaments where like it was like.
I don't know. He must have been a champion in Pride or something like that. I know he was a champion somewhere. And he also seemed like he was like the little brother of Dan Severn, like skinnier, but like same mustache and shit. Anyway, over the course of his career, he held a host of championships, including both versions of the IWGP Heavyweight Championship, the NWF Heavyweight Championship, the NWA International Tag Championship 4 times with Giant Baba, the NWA United National Championship, and many others. He also was included in the WCW Hall of Fame, the Professional Wrestling Hall of Fame and Museum, the George Tragos Luthez Professional Wrestling Hall of Fame, the International Professional Wrestling Hall of Fame, and in 2010, the WWE Hall of Fame. Outside the ring, Inoki was also influential in more than combat sports. He followed his father's footsteps and took a career in politics, founding the Sports and Peace Party in 1989 and getting elected to the House of Councilors. He served from 1989 to 1995 and then again for a second run that lasted from 2013 to 2019 under the Japanese Restoration Party. On behalf of Tag Wrestle Corner,
hold on.
We got reactions from other wrestlers you want to read too.
Yeah, I'm about to go to a little bit too, because you said his transition was just more of like outside of like wrestling, and like I said, that was one of the first MMA bouts. You know, even a couple of his students, Conor McGregor said that when his promotion with Floyd Mayweather, he was watching like how Inoki and Ali said that like played a part into it. He said it's funny how Ali kept trying to reach down and he kept getting swept all the time. One of his students, okay, I'm bad with names, so I'm gonna try to get this right. Nabokio Tanada, helped started Pride Championship.
Nobuhiko Tanada.
That was one of his students, which later became popular, and he was always at the Pride event. Like, he parachuted at Pride Shockwave in 2002. Some of his students, when he opened his old dojo, was Lyoto Machida, Shinsuke Nakamura, Bryan Danielson. Let's see.
Some other wrestlers had comments about it too. Triple H, here's some tweets I'm gonna read off. First, Triple H, one of the most important figures in the history of a wrestling business and a man who embodied the term fighting spirit. The legacy of the WWE Hall of Famer Antonio Inoki will live on forever. Tony Khan, RIP, Antonio Inoki, a pioneer in the professional wrestling industry. Inoki's influence and his achievements will live on forever in the wrestling world. He's an inspiration to all of the dreamers. Thank you, sir. They had a quick, re-showed the remembrance piece from SmackDown that they played for him. By the way, he was born in 1943 to 2022. Impact said, at Impact, would like to extend our condolences to the family, friends, and fans of Antonio Inoki. We're saddened to learn of his passing and know his legacy will live on forever. The National Wrestling Alliance sends its condolences to the friends and family of professional wrestler Antonio Inoki. And NWA Tag Team United National Champion, and most importantly, a legend that will be forever remembered in our business and beyond. They showed a picture of him winning that championship from like the 60s, which is pretty dope. There three Asian men in this picture smiling very, very brightly. Very wide grins. Iron Sheik. I had to laugh when I had his name because as soon as I read it, I'm thinking of you have duty head Jaboni Clown. That's how he usually talks on Twitter. And this one he says, Inoki, one of the greatest ever. I was his teacher. We sold out the garden. We loved each other like family. Respect Inoki forever. I didn't mean to try to do the accent. It just happened.
Yeah.
It just happened. Samoa Joe. I found my road. Thank you for everything, Inoki. Sama, rest in power. RJ City. Inoki and the Bad News Bears go to Japan. I didn't know there was a Bad News Bears go to Japan. Okay, cool. Taz. Very sad to hear in the passing of a true icon of professional wrestling worldwide. Antonio Inoki inspired many wrestlers for so many decades, including me in my in-ring days. I had the opportunity to wrestle several tours for Inoki in New Japan. He truly changed the game. Rest in peace. Thank you, Inoki from Lindsay Dorado, TJ Perkins. If Inoki-san never expanded the dojo system, I never get plucked out of high school and into New Japan. Changed my life forever. The most significant mentor I've ever had, and I keep as much of him in the ring with me as possible as I can to this day. Greatest Japanese legend. Ichi ni Sanda. Something in Japan. I'm not sure exactly what that means. Adam Cole, R.I.P. A legend in every sense of the word. R.I.P. Inoki, obviously. Pat Buck, R.I.P. Inoki, still my favorite match of all time for the right reasons. What he puts a picture of. Did you ever hear about the match when the guy tried to shoot an Inoki and Inoki had to beat his ass for real in the ring? It was this fat guy. He had on like these orange pants. He looked like a biker. He almost looked like One Man Gang, but like with orange pants on and no shirt, right? And dude like tried to shoot an Inoki and he kept trying to push him, so Inoki got pissed, like, man, fuck this. And he started kicking the shit out of him. And he kicked him to the point the dude dropped to the ground and he kept kicking him. He kicked him in the fucking head. He was fucking him up. So that's what Pat Buck posted. Frankie Kazarian, R.I.P. Antonio Inoki. Excuse me. I was still listening to Kowalski tell Inoki stories for hours on end. Thank you for your immense contributions to our sport and the unrivaled legacy you leave behind. Honored to have met you. Godspeed, sir. The account of Big Van Vader, considering he's not alive anymore. Antonio Inoki, my family and I owe you so much. Thank you for everything you did for our family and the business. We all love you. Prayers to your family, RP. So it's a match of Inoki about to punch Vader in the face. I don't have a clue who I am. Rob Schamberger. I'm a clue. I don't know who that is. Rahit Raju, RIP legend. Absolutely gutted as Coughlin. Rest in peace, Inoki-san. Gabe Sapolsky, Ross and Nuts Gunner, true wrestling icon. Evan Husney, Dark Side of the Ring. There's a lot here. I won't read everyone. I see. Yeah. There's a bunch here. ESPN, Bischoff.
Just shows how much of a legend he is, though.
Flair. Like I can't like the scroll just keeps going. And they're not repeating. There's been one that repeated so far, but the scroll keeps going real and Regal. And he shows a match that he had with Inoki in WCW in '94.
No, nah.
Like, okay, now they start repeating some of them. Mick Foley, like, I can go on for days, bro. They have a picture that has Inoki with Stu Hart and Gene Kiniski. I'm guessing from the 60s or 70s.
Probably.
That Natalia released in her tribute song. So that's an interesting one. They have a picture Mick Foley released of him facing against Bruiser Brody back in the day.
Yeah, one of the guys he fought was Bruiser Brody, yeah.
Eddie Kingston released something. Shinsuke has a picture when he was younger with Inoki.
Yeah, because he was one of his students at the dojo.
Mako Satomura. Now the article finally ends. It's so many. So with that being said and more, us here at Tag Wrestle Corner would like to give a moment of silence and condolences to one of the greatest professional wrestlers in the history of the business, Antonio Inoki. So that ends our news segment. Let's get on to the rest of the reports. So we're not here all night. Get out here in the next hour or so. All right, buddy. You got NXT from last week. You can start with that.
Yes. All right. So, as we start with this, well, spoiler to. Oh, wait, no, hold on, my bad. Wrong one. Good thing I caught myself.
The reason we're not covering WWE from last week, nothing really happened there. Of note, there's new tag team number one contenders, which are the Brawling Brutes, or is that
Brawling Brutes?
Yeah, the Brawling Brutes. I couldn't get the name right correct. Let's make sure I had it. Sheamus's boys. So we'll see where that goes. But other than that, nothing. Just matches announced for which we'll talk about more when we get into this week's Raw and SmackDown.
If it ties over,
the matches that fall, they're the new match announced for Extreme Rules.
If it ties over until if what happened last week ties on to some of our story, then we'll get to it there. It's just the fact that like Raw and SmackDown just like they're gonna recap most of it, and most of it be like preview because of the fact that Extreme Rules is coming up anyway. So
exactly.
Gonna start off with Carmelo Hayes is in the office. Of course, remember he lost his match to Solo. And they come in and see Shawn Michaels. The problem was Solo was not the sanctioned challenger. Therefore, he can't be the North American champion. So, he got to hand that title over.
For real?
Yep. Over. He does peacefully. He shakes hands with Shawn. Shawn wishes him best luck. Then that's them probably putting the title on him as he's like, what's the name, before he go up. Because remember he got hurt in that match against Von Wagner and basically cost him to give. He lost his title shot. He ain't losing, but injury forced him, not to go for the title. Now this funny because Hayes basically like, oh well, yeah, you about to give me that back, right? Sean like, no, you don't think you're gonna cheat your way back into the line. No, you lost, man. You ain't about to get that back. So he said in 6 weeks at Halloween Havoc there will be a 6-man ladder match for the title. Next we get Axon versus Nathan Frazier. This is their second match, best out of 3 series. Frazier's down 1-0, so he technically needs to win this match and tie the series. Starts off fast. We get a serial roll-up. Axon goes for the ankle, but Frazier escaped. Then a bridging north suplex on Frazier for a 2 count. Go to break. Axon is fighting back out of a front face lock, running drop kick, crossbody for a 2. Frazier super kicks him down. Takes too long going up. Frazier hits the corner for a superplex into hits a superplex into a spinning suplex into a pin and splash for a pin in like 13 minutes. So they're tied 1-1.
Damn.
I know, right? That's the Seth Rollins, one of Seth Rollins' disciples. You know how he hit that superplex to the Falcon Arrow so like quick, quick. Next, Alba Fire says she wants the women's title. Manny Rose says, I'm not worried about her. She'll take out Fallon Henley next week and then beat Fire. Next, we get Damon Kemp, who recaps turning on Diamond Mine. He even got paid up by the D'Angelo family to win the tag team titles, but that plan got ruined because Santos Escobar put an end to that. He took out Strong. The Creeds are mad. He said he'll fight them one-on-one. Next, Ivy Nile and Tatum Paxley are getting ready for their match. Of course, now let's just draw about the fact that, like, everything that happened with Diamond Mine, you know, so Paxley trying to see if everything okay. Like, are you good to go for the night? This leads to a match between them. They are going against Toxic Attraction, not the team you want to face when, like, you have somebody on your team that's kind of, like, in a shitty mood, I guess. Anyway, so the match starts off with Paxson and Doll, and they're going back and forth. Paxley gets a clothesline off. Jane comes in for some kicks for a backsplash for a 2. Paxley fight out of an arm bar. Now gets tagged in. Everything breaks down. Paxley eats the pin at the 4-minute mark. Stereo drop kick. Not enough time for this one. They basically just trying to pump it up there like she's distracted. Oh, God. Yay. Spam guy again. Joe Gates in his Schisms. They basically have a squash match against, man, I think their name is Diaz. Like, that's their name. Name. Versus Idris Enofe and Malik Blade. They beat them in 10 minutes. Canadian Destroyer. And they do the ticket to Mayhem. Finish them off at 9:15. They just. Your boy Quincy Elliott debuted last week. Super Diva. I think that's what he called himself. Next, we get a match between the last Emperor Santa Tamura, Roxanne Perez. And you get a recap how like Perez first lost that match. Then we get Cora J and Perez basically going back and forth. Perez said she's ready to be more violent. Next we get Cora J versus Wendy Chu. This literally was the match. Chu takes her down. Outside dive, gets taken down by the hair. Jay hammer away, grab a cross arm choke. Chu fights back. She gets caught in the DDT. That's it. It's kind of a squash match. Then Last Legend comes in to basically give Winnie Chu a boot. Braun Breaker is grateful for fans voting him Superstar of the Year. Yeah. He picks Tyler Bate over JD Madonna in the main event because he said he would like a rematch against Tyler Bate. Hayes and Trick Williams are not happy. They come out for a chat. He said he's still the A champion. Out comes your boy Chase U. Come out there with Andre Chase. Says it's a teachable moment. They have a match. And Chase gets the win here. Yeah.
Surprise.
Yeah. After a springboard clothesline, he takes out Bodie Hayward. Hayward gets over to Chase. Hayes kicks him. Kicks Chase Hayward down, but then a springboard contour roller for Chase to get the pin. This is a tag match, so Chase, you got the win over Hayes and Trick Williams. Next, we get Brooke Jensen, Josh Briggs, and Fallon Henley are interrupting Gal's card game. Security got to run because it's about to lead to, like, in case any violence happen. Sanga versus Von Wagner. Von Wagner basically squashed him in less than 3 minutes. Stack says Tony Daniel will become North American champion. Cameron Grimes said he's going to put Schism in the wood chipper next week and the fuel will take him to the moon. Next, we get a first North American title match. Ora Mensah versus Grayson Waller. Let's be honest, we all know who won this match. Waller, huh?
I'm laughing at you, so let's be honest. You know who won this match. He was laughing at that.
Who you think won this match?
Grayson Waller.
No, he didn't. Mensah wins this match after interference from Apollo Crews.
There's a stipulation. I didn't know the stipulation. I should have known on WWE, really. But
remember Memphis with Oliver Carter back in the day. So the Creed brothers want Damon Kemp. Brutus gets a shot at him next week. Julius said he's going to end his career. That's on site. I just love the fact that Julius Creed is like this skinny white dude. Like, you look at him and Brutus. Like, Brutus is bigger than him. But he looked like the guy that he hang with black dudes growing up. Like this is the way he carry himself. And I'm not trying to make this like the way that said crack him. But it's just like he hung out with like a lot of brothers. Like like the way he carry himself. But the conflict, but don't say on site every time you try to make a threatening pose though. Like, you get it, bro. You ain't gotta say on site all the time. We know what it means. I mean, I get it, the situation it caused to it.
he letting you know this is what it is, bro.
Next,
I see.
So Ruku is coming. She's like a surfer type chick. Next we get to our main event. This is the number 1 contender match between JD Madonna and Tyler Bate. Your winner gets Braun Breaker here. JD starts off early. Bate slips out, reverses to an armbar. They trade roll-ups. Bate is in and out of Boston Crab, so he gets kicked down again. They go to the floor. Bate gets a T-bone suplex, running shooting star press, and then an airplane spin. He gets low bridge to the floor, which sets up a 450. Brainbuster gets Madonna with 2 more. They start to slug it out. Bate gets Spanish flied. Then he managed his left hand from his back for a twist. Bate gets caught on top. Super Spanish fly to the devil inside, gives JD the pin at the minute of 12 minutes and 12 minutes 56 seconds. So it's gonna be this is gonna be your match between Madonna and Breaker. But the big thing was that so they did the thing where they said like a new change or something was coming, and they was like getting like the narrative and everything like that. Basically, they're changing the logo back, so it's the old black and gold NXT logo.
Right, so they're killing off 2.0.
Oh, basically.
They're killing off 2.0.
So he dropped the 2.0.
There you go. Yeah.
So that was the end of NXT. So for last week. Yay.
You ready?
Yeah.
Alrighty.
You got a pay-per-view, don't you?
Yes, basically. Grand Slam in Arthur Ashe Stadium in New York. Probably the biggest Dynamite show of the year. We have a world title match to close it out.
Yeah. Biggest location? Arthur Ashe Station?
For Dynamite, I would say, yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
It holds about 20-something thousand, and that place was packed. And the visuals for it were awesome, so I know they had to be proud of it. And the people that own the stadium probably were proud of it too, seeing the visuals on TV and stuff. It was pretty dope. I would love to go there and see a show.
Visuals off their ass, they be saying?
Yeah. Awesome. You know, so you could clearly see the fans. You can clearly see like the grandstands, and like to the point you even see like they have advertisements up along, like, you know how in Brown Stadium where you would see like stats along the thing when you look around the stadium. Or you will see like retired player numbers or whatever, where they have like advertisers. So you would clearly see like Polo Ralph Lauren or like Head, which is like a maker of like tennis balls or whatever. And different things. You would clearly see that around stadium. From the version of it that I saw, it was awesome. So just visual
all
stuff.
relate to tennis, which is awesome.
All the well, I mean, it's a tennis stadium.
No, I'm saying like everything around it.
Yeah, and it's but it just had really good visuals, like especially at the part when they're showing the main event, because they would show like the ring, and then at one point they even showed like a wide shot where you kind of saw like where MJF was, or maybe it was a side by side where you see where MJF is. Like, remember when we went to Forbidden Door where Juice Robinson was sitting?
Yeah, that's
kind of like where MJF was sitting, and they had a spotlight on him. But then they also showed the in-ring action because, you know, he has the chip, so he's gonna face the winner of the match basically, or whatever. He makes an appearance prior to that on this show also, so we'll get into that. But opening match of this show was Ring of Honor World Title Chris Jericho versus Claudio Castagnoli. We already know this is going to be a great match, and I could go move for move, but let me get down to the basics of this. The basis of this is basically that the fact that this is basically pro wrestler versus sports entertainer. Jericho didn't even want to respect the rules of Ring of Honor by shaking the man's hand to start it off. By the way, Riccaboni from Ring of Honor was on the title. I was on the commentary along with the regular AEW commentators. We not had Jim Ross on the show, but Jim Ross was on the Rampage version. Oh. So it was just Shivani, who had an interesting moment on the show. We'll get to it. It's my fuck Tony Schiavone moment of the week. And it's actually fuck the person who fucked with Tony Schiavone, so we'll get to that. Taz and Excalibur. So Kerry Silken was ringside during this. Jericho tried to hide behind him, and then he pushed him to the floor and then like kicked him. And he recently, I don't know how recent it was, but he in the past had like work done like on his ankle and his knee, and dude's like in his 60s. So, it's kind of an asshole move. Yeah. But the match came down to the fact that he didn't want to like shake hands, which is a typical Ring of Honor thing, like the respect thing. He did it begrudgingly, but he did not act that way at all during the match because you brought the Kerry Silken part. Eventually, he got the upper hand where somehow they got the referee distracted. He got Floyd the Bat in the ring. He went to hit Claudio with the bat. He got the Floyd the Bat in the ring. He tried to hit Claudio with the bat. It gets taken away in the distraction, but as soon as it gets taken away by the ref from the distraction, low blow by Jericho. Turns around, hits the Judas effect. Wins the title. He is now the ROH champion. He's going to be pushing that Ocho shit hard now. He's going to have a t-shirt that says the Ocho because it's his 8th word title. You know what I'm saying? But it was a very good match. Post-match, Jericho Appreciation Society all came out, holding him up in the air. He kept doing this shit, making these numbers. Ty Mello and Anna Jay came out. They kind of looked like chorus girls in Vegas, where they were dressed a little bit. And then Danny Garcia came out with his ROH Pure Championship, and he did look kind of disinterested. I think he shook his hand, but like he knew that he cheated in that match, so I guess he kind of was showing like he didn't respect it or whatever. Showing more dissent from him from the rest of the Jericho Appreciation Society. Next match, fan reaction wise, match of the night. I think their first match, to me, work rate wise, was better than this one, but I thought this was a very good match. The tag title match, Swerve and Gory versus The Acclaim, the rematch. Now, this explains why they didn't win the title. Everybody was mad they didn't call an audible all out and have them win it there because they wanted them to win in their backyard. AEW likes to do the opposite of WWE. Let you win in your hometown. Yes. And that's what they did with these boys. Great match. Either way, the fans clearly picked sides as soon as they came out.
Oh yeah.
The Acclaim came out with, I think they came out with DJ Woo Kid, and he had cut some bars on them. Nothing of that was really memorable or anything to me.
He cut bars on
Swerve and Our Glory. He said they call you Swerve, but it looks more like a glory hole or something like that. It was some cheese shit. I didn't really feel his bars on that shit. One. But Swerve and Our Glory came out with Fabulous, who had on this dope ass bait like Patrick Ewing jersey, so that was cool.
They went round one. Why didn't they come out with Fab? You think that like they?
So this match is almost a run through of the last match, except without the Bowens feigning injury spot. They started just getting their stuff off on Swerve and Our Glory, and it basically came down to a matter of separation, getting one out the ring or the other, you know what I'm saying, and then capitalizing on that inside of the ring on the one that was left alone. It came down to a mic drop that connected for a very delayed 2. Caster seemed to hurt his knee at this spot. Strickland came back in and drive Caster, or at least his knee, into the corner. Lee pounces Caster and throws him, Swerve into a sit-out power bomb that was hit for a near fall. With the kick out, bring the crowd back to life. Strickland's springboard flip dive is more of a springboard flipping kicks to the face, but Gunn gets in his face. The Family Star on the floor hits Swerve, and a mic drop to get Caster the pin and the win. Keith Lee tried to drive in and make the save, but could not beat the pin in time. We have new tag team champions, The Acclaimed.
About time they got that dude though.
I like how they sold it though too. When they left, they both looked stunned that they even lost. Keith Lee and Swerve. So let's see where their storyline goes from there. FTR is next, giving a congratulations to the new champs, but they said they probably should have had a title shot since like April or May. But before they can even continue saying that, they're cut off by the Gun Club, who comes in and mocks them and says, "We're the new FTR," and then did their forearm pose thing and hugged each other and shit, setting up, I guess, the next tag team feud.
Really, those guys?
Wheeler Yuta next up is interrupted by guess.
Wheeler Yuta?
Mm-hmm. Maxwell Jacob Friedman. And I hear it coming around the way. Here comes fuck Tony Schiavone!
Skip on. Hey, that's the Tony
This
moment.
week, this week it's sad. It's not sad,
man.
but Tony don't deserve this shit. So MJF, who comes out on the stage, had to
skip on in a sad moment, man. It's gonna be a funny moment, man.
It is. But MJF comes out kind of like this Ric Flair stud. MJF says Wheeler Yuta will never get a reaction like this because people were loving MJF. It's in New York. Excuse me. Obviously, he's from Long Island. The only reason he wouldn't do it because he has standards. But Yuta calls him the king of low hanging fruit. Yuta brings up MJF getting engaged recently and suggests that MJF's fiance is too smart. Is too smart for her, or well, for him, I guess. His fiance figured out MJF is a spineless piece of garbage who will walk out on her like MJF walked out on AEW. MJF says, "Give it up for Wheeler." He said, "Give it up for Wheeler. He went from drying paint to pet rock personality." MJF is here to wish the Blackpool Cuckold Club good luck in the main event tonight. He mocked both Danielson and Moxley and William Regal and says he can teach him how to pop pills, talking about William Regal. He earned this earns MJF a slap in the face from Wheeler, but then he headbutts Wheeler and pushes Tony Schiavone to the ground. Because Tony was like, "Hey, wait, hold on." He pushed Tony Schiavone down like, "Don't touch me," and then pushed him down again by his head like, "What are you going to do about it?" And Tony, of course, hit bitch mode, like, "Hey, all right, hey." I'm not saying Tony a bitch, but I'm saying he does have me by like 30 or 40 years there. You know?
I don't give a damn.
So that was our fuck Tony Schiavone moment. It was fucked up.
He gonna get his ass. He's playing at the right time.
Yuta jumped back up to try to jump in and help Schiavone, but W. Morrissey was there. Dogged him right quick. Comes in for the save, and him and MJF walk off. Next up, Jade Gargano and the Baddies are getting interviewed backstage. They say they aren't worried about Diamante and her friend. What I like about this is that Diamante, who brings her friend, guess who her friend is? I like how AEW seems to have a trend here.
And her friend was Trina?
Yep.
305.
But the commentary didn't even realize this, which was funny, number one.
Oh, God.
Number
they don't know who Trina is?
Number two is they have this affliction now for bringing in popular rappers. We've had your boy, Kevin Gates. We've had Fabulous. We've had Action Bronson. We've had Trina. Who am I forgetting? There's some more. I know somebody I'm forgetting. Oh, West Side Gun. Twice now, because West Side Gun was here. He was ringside. I'm sure there's another rapper or two. Oh, Snoop. He even wrestled in the match.
Oh, God. Yeah.
So, anyway, All-Atlantic Championship match, Pac versus Orange Cassidy. This was nothing like their original match from a couple years ago. That was super hilarious. This was way more of a serious one. Basically, this came down to Pac disrespecting Orange Cassidy and not thinking that he's to his level. Orange Cassidy constantly through the match was, standing up to this opinion of him from Pac, obviously. Eventually, it came down to a point where Orange Punch got blocked. Pac pulls him into the Brutalizer, which gets countered into a roller for two. Orange Punch connects for two. Pac rolls out of the outside for a breather. With the referee not able to see it, Pac gets a shot in with the ring bell hammer. Not Cassidy silly. Gets in there and retains the championship. And then the ref figured it out. He figured it out. He figured it out, but the ref figured it out, but he couldn't prove it. So all you could do was like, hey, why is he asleep like that? Like, what did you do? What did you do? And he's like, hey, man, I just said what the fuck on, bro. Basically what he said.
Get my man a fucking title, though, man. Like, damn it.
Next up.
He's due for one, man.
AEW women's title match. Sorry, it's back in the 9 o'clock slot. Britt Baker versus Serena Deeb versus Athena versus Toni Storm. Some of my favorite wrestlers, but it gave them good time. This match went almost 10 minutes. Probably got more considering it was a 4-way, but I digress. The heels stuck together in the beginning of this one for the faces came, and did what they did here. Basically, we get down to a point where we settled down to a point where Toni Storm hitting a running drop kick for 2 on Baker for going up top. Went for a Tower of Doom, and everybody going down. We take a break, coming back from the break with Storm and Deeb holding half crabs and slapping each other in the face instead of cranking back harder on the half crabs. There was another slap face moment that was great. We'll talk about later in the main event. Both of these are broken up. Athena drop kicks Baker to break up the stomp. Deeb net breakers Baker over the ropes. From here, we get a swinging neck breaker. Deeb gets 2 on Storm, and then he goes on for the Serenity Lock. Athena breaks it up and throws Baker and Deeb in at the same time. A powerbomb swung into a face plant, gives Athena 2 on Storm, and Deeb makes the save. Baker tries to run in for a lockjaw on Storm, who reverses into a crucifix to remain the champion. Now, also at some point during this match, at the end, Baker, who got busted open in the nose again. I don't know if it was broken, but it was another t-shirt worthy spot, I will say, when she looked at the camera. I definitely said that. She goes after Storm. All of a sudden,
if this wasn't better than her one at St. Patrick's Day.
All of a sudden, Jamie Hayter runs in. And you're thinking, oh shit, this is the first time they really had an interaction since All Out, and she played her in the last title match, the other 4-way. She pulls her off.
Broken nose begets to broken nose.
And she pulls her off of Storm. Then Hayter and Baker both beat down Storm together to show hi, the rules, we're back together, whatever. Deeb gets in and starts beating down Athena, so the heels are totally winning. Lockjaw is loaded up. Who debuts?
Well, we already ruined it in the nose. So.
Paige. Going by her real name, Soraya. Now the ring clears. Invites anyone to come fire. No one accepts. Brings the faces in. They all hug. Fans go crazy. Some people thought it was a little bit of an anticlimactic because she didn't really talk in the mic or have a match. I don't feel that way. I feel like the reaction shows fans still love Paige, and they're going to be glad to see her there. I hope everything works out for her, and I hope she passes all her medicals so she can get back in the ring.
Paige is one of those ones. Paige is... I put Paige kind of the same, but like everybody loves Paige. She's kind of like everybody loves AJ Lee. So like AJ Lee could come back and not even say nothing. The crowd will go crazy though. Well, even though CM Punk is,
he won't be coming back.
He won't be coming back.
That's basically from what I hear. Now I didn't want to put that in the news yet because I don't have it fully confirmed. But they're trying to. I feel like they're almost working on the buyout. He feels like if Ace Steel's gone, I'm gone because that's his boy, his trainer, and all that. But Ace Steel was definitely gone for his actions in that fight.
Oh yeah, he got
throwing
fired.
Chairs and all that other shit. So I think Punk's trying to work a buyout. Basically,
where you gonna go?
I don't know.
Cause he ain't come back to WWE because you already got heat with Triple H. Ain't gonna want you back.
I think Triple H could be like bygones, let's make money. It's about Punk at that point. And Chris Amon's not there anymore. So that kind of opens the door, doesn't it?
I mean,
I would assume.
It can, but at the same time, though, Triple H, he on them. I don't say he hold grudges like Vince, but like he kind of have a fuck with me kind of streak. Like
next up, Darby Allin is going around New York City, carrying around a body bag through the subways and shit before he gets in the back of a taxi and say, "Hey, I'm going to a funeral."
Where he jumps off 92 fucking feet waterfalls and shit.
Yeah, I heard about that too. I didn't put that in the stories, but I heard about that too. Next up, we have our main event. World title match for AEW. Jonathan Moxley versus Bryan Danielson, or Daniel Bryan's son, or whatever you want to call him, American Dragon. Yeah, there was a spot in this match, right? Roman Regal was on commentary for both men, obviously. There was a spot in this match when they were going so hard at each other. Huh?
Was like, if you picking sides, or you trying?
No, he wasn't picking sides.
He be like ass neutral about it.
No, he was defending both. He kind of neutral. He was in the middle. He wasn't picking sides at all. Basically, so they got to a point in this match they were both doing handstands while they were in a leg lock and were just slapping each other in the face while they're just like this. It was hilarious. This is a great match, very technical match. I heard some people were upset with the outcome. I kind of could see that though, because I kind of thought Danielson was gonna win. Moxley won to be a 3-time champion. No interim shit this time, nothing like that. He eventually, we're gonna skip to the end of the match. He got a triangle choke. That goes on before shifting into the LeBell lock by Danielson, but Moxley makes it to the ropes. Danielson goes up top and hits a knee on the arm. Moxley right back with a Death Rider on the ramp for 2, setting up a sleeper in the ring. And it says he tapped. He didn't tap. Maybe he tapped. I didn't see him tap. I thought it basically just picked his arm and dropped him and was like, it's over. He's out.
He did it 3 times, or is it just like...
Not even. It was kind of like Mysterio on Raw this week when he faced Rollins. They barely even picked his arm up, type of deal. You know what I'm saying? It was over.
They said, "Oh, it's over. He's out. He's out. He's out." Like, no, I'm not.
Post match, Regal comes to hand Moxley the title in the ring, but Danielson takes it away and points at Regal to end the show. So, are they teasing dissension? Who knows? We'll see. That was the end of the first half of Grand Slam. The next part of Grand Slam from last week before we get into this week's show. Damn, I got 3 in a row. I didn't realize that. All right, so getting to Grand Slam part 2, which is the Rampage version. This show is going to start off House of Black, new version, versus Sting and Darby Allin. No DQ. Sting and Darby Allin pop up from behind the House of Black and kind of jumping behind the ring. This is all your typical fare with them. Nothing crazier than they've done in any other matches, but it was still a good match. Your heart was there. She even got involved in the action this time. She basically jumped on Sting's back and he just carried her around as he was chasing down Buddy Matthews, who was trying to fight him. He ain't hit her or nothing like that. He really wasn't a factor. She was just on his back at the same time.
The distraction. It just wasn't a good one, but I mean...
So basically, this match goes into the ring. It comes down to Buddy Matthews and Sting, right? And he gets Sting handcuffed. I believe he's handcuffed to a chair. And he gets him handcuffed in the middle of the ring. You know, Darby Allin and Brody King continuing their eternal feud and fighting off somewhere along ringside. So he goes to, like, get another chair to, like, hit Sting with. All of a sudden, this music hits. Guess who comes out? You're never going to guess it unless you saw it.
Oh.
Okay. One of Sting's all-time greatest rivals. About to retire soon. Actually, I think in February. The Great Muta. Muta comes out. No, it's random, right? Great Muta comes out.
It is random.
Slowly through the ring. Hits a great dragon slew. Hits a dragon screw leg whip on Matthews. Then he hits the mist on Matthews, which knocks him in the heart, sending her out of the ring through a table. She almost looked like the way she hit the table, bruh. Only her ass went through. Like, literally, the table looked like it was a bite chunk mark out of where it would have been the shape of your ass. That went through, and her back hit the ground. She was this far away from her head hitting the fucking barricade as she went through. Ooh. She it was like almost like she overshot. Like, say this was the table, right? And this is the ring. She fell back, hit this part of the table with her butt. Her butt cheeks went through, and the barricade was like right here. She missed it by. She was that close.
That could have been bad.
Yeah, it was that close. I had to rewind it to double check that she didn't bang her head. This 11-minute match was a banger.
She's all right.
Sting breaks out of the handcuffs by basically just bumping into the ropes. It made me think, like, did you really need Great Muta? You could have just did that. Anyway,
yeah.
Hits a scorpion death drop on Matthews for the pin. Next match on the show, Action Bronson, our predecessor and creator. Well, we edited it up a little bit, but the guy that we got our original show open song from. Shh, don't tell nobody. Anyway, Hook and Action Bronson taking on the Jericho Appreciation Society. He's represented by Cool Hand Ends and Money Magic Money, Matt Menard.
Crazy guy.
Coke dealer, basically. You want to taste? Action Bronson wraps the team to the ring. Parker kicks Hook in the face, but to start, Hook spins out of a hip toss and a gun for a suplexes him down. Bronson comes in, hits a bunch of shoulder bumps for a minute before he hands it back off to Hook. He looked like he was gassed. He looked gassed. You could tell that he probably did some work in the ring with him. And he went for a little bit, but he looked gassed, I can say, after his time in there. The match was only 5 minutes. Hook came back in, was going to stomp in the corner, but Hook pretty easily suplexes his way out of trouble, hands it back to Bronson, hits a running power slam for 2 on Parker. Everything breaks down. Stereo Red runs for the finish. Said it went about 5 minutes. It was over. And didn't last too long. Samoa Joe and Wardlow versus Tony Nese and Josh Woods. This match was hilarious for one reason, and I'll get to that in a second. Mark Sterling's here with the villains. Wardlow and Woods slug it out. The two start to brawl to the floor. Spinebuster plants Woods and Cactus clothesline, sent the both out of the ring. Joe hammers Nese down in the corner before awarding his moonsault. Muscle Buster finished the Nese at 2 minutes and 24 seconds. Did it like it was nothing. Post-match. A beatdown is out for Joe with Wardlow coming in for the save. He was favoring his leg for being outside. There was parts during this match I thought he may have blew. I thought he was ACL easily. He fell on the outside and sat there for a grip, and he didn't get up. And I'm like, did they call an audible to finish this match fast with the Muscle Buster part? Like, I know the Muscle Buster is one of his finishers, but I'm just saying, like, because the way he was sitting out there, he sat there for a grip. Like, when you watch the match, you'd have figured after 20, 30 seconds, even if you're selling, you would have rolled around. No, he sat there like McMahon blowing both his quads. And I'm like, oh, shit, did he blow the knee? Like, no, I hope he didn't blow the knee. Eventually, he got up. He seemed like he was favoring the leg, but he got in the ring and started doing power bombs. And if you're walking on it, like, you had to be cool.
It probably was one of those,
like a knee sprain or something like that?
Like a sprain, but like, he probably just like when you like land on something wrong. Like you don't like severely hurt yourself. You don't hurt yourself, but like you just like hold on, like I just gotta just chill, like let this shit like heal up, like what's the name? Something like that, probably what it was.
Here's the best part though. So he gets in the ring to make the save, right? And then Mark Sterling comes in with the belt and he hits Wardlow, but he totally no sells and it doesn't work. As soon as he hits him with the belt, but it doesn't work, Mark Sterling goes, "Oh, come on." The way he reacted was so fucking funny. He was like, "Oh, come on." Like he knew he was about to get his ass kicked. Hitting with 3 power bombs. He looked dead afterwards. And then, so like I said, if Wardlow was hurt, you couldn't tell it from that. So it was hilarious. Next up, Jungle Boy said he's ready to move on from Christian Cage, and he was talking more shit about Luchasaurus. He had a great match next with Rey Fenix. They've been teasing their eventual breakup of Death Triangle. I think it's coming soon. They've been seeing in this show teasing where Pac is very full of himself, and Rey Fenix and Zero Mato are getting tired of that shit. Pentagon. Right. So great match, obviously I super can't go move on this because it's a fucking Rey Fenix match, one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. He gets in there, so I'll start in the middle of it a little bit. They get back into the ring, Jungle Boy kneeling a super kick into a poison rana. It's not enough to keep Phoenix down. He gets right back up with a rolling cutter for a double knockout. Jungle Boy gets another fast 2 count before they fight an apron. Phoenix knocks him out to the floor but dives into a super kick that puts them both down again. We take another break and come back with Phoenix getting the better of a slug out and hitting a gory bomb. He gets swung to a cutter for 2. Jungle Boy pops back up and huts a running elbow to the back of the head for 2, meaning it's another double breather. Phoenix hits 2 amigos, but the third is countered to a Samoan driver to give Jungle Boy 2 count of his own. Jungle Boy gets kicked down again, setting up for a good frog splash to get Phoenix 2 more. Springboard. Spinning kick to the head in the corner and sets up for the black fire driver, but Jungle Boy reverses that into a small package for the victory after about 17 minutes. Respect is shown between the two. Christian Cage comes out with an arm sling talking shit. It's a ruse just because Jungle Boy pops up from behind and the beatdown is on. Christian blames Jungle Boy for his arm injury, and that's why that partly reason why that match was a squash match at the pay-per-view, because he was already hurt. So he's introducing him to the right hand of destruction. Christian wishes Jungle Boy's mom and sister were watching this as Luchasaurus hits him with the chokeslam. There's still a long time before Jungle Boy is going to get his hands on Christian again. We look at Jericho Appreciation Society celebrating the winning Ring of Honor title. Next match up is Eddie Kingston versus Sammy Guevara. Ty Mello was here with Guevara, who caused Kingston fat to make them start fast. They fight around the ring with Kingston getting the better of it without much
Why
trouble.
are we bringing that back? That what made Eddie Kingston fucking up the first time. Off script. Like, we go...
A poke to the eye, rocked Sammy, and then they head to the apron where Sammy backdropped into the
Wait,
floor.
you said he called him fat or...
She did.
Okay.
The kick to the chest drops Kingston again, and we take a break. Back with Sammy in trouble until Mello distracts and let him hit a running knee to the face. Double springboard cutter and gets 2 on Kingston, but the GTH is broken up with the elbows to the head, rapid fire chops in the corner, rock Sammy again. There's a suplex to make it worse. Sammy's right back up with a super kick, but Kingston had suplexes him. The spinning back fist is set up. A spinning back fist was a spinning back fist, which sets up a spinning back fist, which sets up a spinning back fist, which sets up a stretch plum to give Kingston the victory after about 7 minutes. Almost 7.5 minutes. Post-match, Kingston won't let go, so Jerry Lynn has to come in and reason with him, let him go. Security pleading with him to let him go, which doesn't work either. Yeah, he's a backstage
I know just the name.
So the referee reversed the decision to give Sammy the win. The frustrated Kingston beats up security. Fair enough.
I hate that shit.
Kingston won the match definitely, but
no, I hate that fact. Like, just because of so if you go super aggressive and everything like that, also, we're going to reverse the decision. Like, no,
I don't like this next part.
Kick his fucking ass.
This next
He
part.
called me fat. Okay, I got aggression to get off.
This next part I felt was kind of corny, and I just feel like if you're gonna do this Goldberg thing with her, you need to start like switching up how you do it. So it's TBS title match: Diamante versus Jade Gargano. Diamante coming out with Trina, challenging, going at it right from the start. Some chops set in the corner to set up some left hands, and some roll up to give Diamante 2. Jade kicks her in the face. We get kicked down again. A baseball slide sends Gargano outside, but pulls a dive out of the air. An F5 into the apron, plants Diamante, and Jade retains the title. 2 minutes and 30 seconds. That's my problem. It's like
You don't got nobody for her to face.
It's cool she's looking dominant in all these wins, but they got to find another interesting way to get her over, though.
Let me say this.
After the match, Trina turns on Diamante and joins the baddies.
I'm not shocked. I'm not shocked by that, though.
Not shocked by that development.
I'm not shocked. No, I'm not. I mean, also not only that, but like, yeah.
Next one's kind of long,
I
but
could have her run. She at least beating like quality people. Like y'all pulling people from dark and elevation, to throw up against Jay Cargill because y'all ain't. Because the people that y'all should have had beat her. No, I take that back. Chris Statlander getting hurt kind of fucked that whole thing up. Because I believe she was going to be the one that's going to take that belt off Cargill.
she still can be. This got to give me a better tell of this. Like
Yeah.
at this point, I'd almost rather be
Who she beating
where
though? She
people.
beat everybody.
I feel like, especially you don't give them people from them random people from off of like dark and stuff like that. They should have to go through the baddies in order to get to her. It shouldn't just be like you
that.
get a match by
I like that,
announcement.
yeah.
I need title
You got to
defenders.
beat each one of them before you get her.
And not only that, I want baddies to knock these hoes off. Oh, pardon my language. I don't mean to say it like that. Knock the ladies off that they gonna face, because I wanted to make it seem like it's a hard mountain to climb to even get to Jade, let alone just face her for a title match because you want to.
That's perfect.
You know what I'm saying? That's a good way to switch it up. I want her to be like, you know what? I'm tired of this. There ain't no comp for me. Now you gotta go through my bras to get to me. You know what I'm saying? Something like that. I'd like to see him switch it up like that personally.
You can also stretch that storyline out too.
This next one's going to be kind of long, but you're going to understand what I start talking about. It's the Golden Ticket Battle Royal. It's a battle royal. Evil Uno, 10, Rush, Jay Lethal, Lance Archer, Penta, Hangman Page, John Silver, Butcher, Isaiah Cassidy, Mark Quinn, Dan Housen, Chuck Taylor, Trent Beretta, Brian Cage, Ari Daivari, Matt Hardy, Daniel Garcia, Jake Hager, QT Marshall, Blade, Cole Carter, Dalton Castle, Dante Martin, Lee Moriarty were all your participants.
God damn.
For a world title shot on October 18th, Page gets jumped from behind during his entrance. They go to break. They come back. A Penta super kick Navari out. Dan House is curses Carter, allowing Trent to throw him out. Marshall gets cursed, and then he gets clotheslined out by Hager. Cage jumps
discouraging
Chuck,
people.
knocks Castle off the apron, right into the boys. The boys offer a distraction so Castle could dump Cage, and Archer knocks out Chuck. There goes Castle with Garcia and Moriarty following him out. Come back from break this time, Private Party saving themselves with Silly String, the Butcher and Blade. Jump them from behind. Hardy gets hit by everyone. He gets a hit to everyone. Blade, Party, Hardy are all tossed with Uno, Butcher following. We're now down to Silver, Russ, Page, Penta, Archer, Lethal. Russ dumps Silver quick. Penta kicks Archer out, so now we're down to 4. Your 4 would be Hangman, Penta, Jay Lethal, and Roosh, I believe. I think the last one. Lethal gets tossed over the top, but Satnam Singh catches them. Dalton and the boys did it better though earlier in the match, I'll be honest. That's enough for Lethal to toss Penta, but Page tosses him out, leaving Roosh versus Page. They fight in the apron, and Deadeye knocks Roosh over to give Page the win. So you'll see Page versus Moxley October 18th in a rematch. I like how they come around to their rematches. Like, they make sense. It's not just, oh, we're going to do this because it's going to be a series of 3 matches because that's how we booked it. It's usually a reason that leads to the rematch. Like with Jericho and Danielson, which was like a week or 2 apart. There was a reason that led to it with the tournament. The match of Danielson and Mox, you know what I'm saying, is one. Page, well, now with this one with Page and Mox is another one, you know what I'm saying? The whole thing with Punk and Mox, you know what I'm saying? They I like the way they do that. Now we're up to your main event. Ricky Starks and Powerhouse Hobbs are ready to fight. It's time for a main event. Lights out match, which means anything goes.
Kind of against your record.
Starks gets a special video entrance about how absolute he really is. Starks goes right in after him and hammers away, sending Hobbs bailing out onto the floor. Clothesline drops Hobbs again. Starks sends him into the steps. Back in, Hobbs hits White Noise with the need to take over, meaning it's already time for a table. Instead of setting up, Hobbs just throws it at him before tossing in some more chairs. Take a break up back. Starks hits the DET for 2, but Hobbs hits him with a low blow. Jericho freaking about how unfair it was on commentary. It was actually hilarious considering how much he hit the low blow to get the title earlier in the week to win your championship. Hobbs sets up for 2 chairs, but Starks kicks him on a low blow, breaks it up. Starks turns the chairs back to back, but gets backdropped on the edges of them. Sort of like that spot with Adam Cole and Malachi Black in their match in NXT that I love. I love that spot. But it also made me wince like, ooh. Running back slam on the chairs gives 2 on Starks. They fight up the ramp. Starks misses a charge into the set, so Hobbs breaks off a piece of the set. That takes too long, and then fighting back up to the ring, where Starks hits him in the face with the set pipe. Rochambeau into the chairs. Well, he missed. His feet basically touched him, but it was enough to finish him off after about 11 and a half minutes. And that was the end of Rampage Grand Slam. Next, Monday Night Raw. Now we're into this week's particulars. Monday Night Raw was a pretty decent show this week. They've all been decent shows since Triple H is taking over. I would definitely say that. They've been way more interesting to watch now. You know what I'm saying? But the booking, it ain't changed that much. See, this is what they're trying to do now. They're still going to feed you. You're going to see these 3 people facing each other for the next 2 or 3 months. But this is how we're going to do. We're going to time for these other people so then we can have the same main components of it tied to the match because they peoples is fighting each other. For example, this show opened up with Damage Control coming out talking shit with the title, talking about why Bayley came back and she's going to challenge Bianca Belair and blah, 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 blah. Start talking about the shit about the place they were in because it was in Edmonton, Canada. Then comes out Bianca Belair with Alexa Bliss and Asuka. Notice there's an Asian woman on both sides of this feud. I wonder if that's on purpose. I just realized this week. Never mind. But
no, I'm not gonna say that because it's Triple H, not that.
Okay, true. It doesn't like Asian women at all. So
I mean, both of them is Triple H. Like, them both Triple H diehard. Like he like she literally came back for Triple H. Like they're like diehard. So like.
So
they need to get a match finally though. Like
They've only faced in tags. I would like to see them.
I would like to see them 1-on-1.
So basically, they came out and Bianca Belair was refuting everything Bayley was saying, talking about, oh yeah, she taught Bianca everything she knows, but she's getting the big push and she never had to work for it. And she's coming in like, no, I worked for it and I just show and prove. That's why they keep giving me shots. And she said, I might not be able to face you tonight, but I'll face your girl. Which leads to our opening match. Bianca Belair versus Io Sky. Go ahead, sir.
Unpopular opinion here. Love me some Bianca Belair. I'm getting sick and tired of Bianca Belair.
They force feed you. They force
I'm
feed
getting
you.
sick and tired of Bianca Belair. Like, I get it. Like, y'all not doing that. Y'all kind of, I don't want to say y'all doing it like Charlotte Flair, because what Charlotte Flair was like, y'all used to support
I'm waiting for them to bring Charlotte back, because at WrestleMania, it better be her versus Charlotte. Because she should be running through all four horsewomen.
She got to. She beat them all. Charlotte the last one.
Exactly. So that should be the match for Mania, with Becky versus Ronda on the other side of it. But continue.
Yeah, but no, I mean, I'm just sick and tired of just seeing Bianca Belair. And it's nothing against her.
They gave this match a whole lot of time. Almost 18 minutes.
Who was it again?
Opening match, Bianca Belair versus Io Sky. Non-title.
Because it was the main event on NXT, that's how much time Triple H would have gave them.
They came back from break. Sami Zayn arrived with Solo Sikoa. They get back to the match. Belair blocks the head scissors into a backbreaker for 2. Sky hits a slingshot. Knees into the corner for 2. Belair back up with some right hands in the corner, but she heads outside where Sky is posing as we take a break. Back from break, Belair sending her into a corner again, suplexing her into the leg, vertical suplex for 2. Sky kicks her down again, though, into the steps, and then steps on Sky's hair. That doesn't last long. Belair's back up for exchange of Miss Moonsaults. Handspring moonsault gets Belair 2, and she easily pulls a diving Sky out of midair. Follow the slam gets 2, but Sky knocks her off the top. Belair evens up by shaving Sky off the top as well, setting up for a slingshot dive into the rest of damage control, back in with a KOD to finish the match. Rey Mysterio talking about what it means to be a father tonight, but tonight he's focused on Seth Rollins. Miz has his own security control, and he's talking to, and he sets him up, and this is set up in the beginning of the show, so I like this joke. So he was talking to them about like all the how lucrative it is to basically be his security.
Yeah.
He's saying this could be a possible $1 million opportunity for you. He sounded like he was selling a fucking infomercial. It was hilarious. Mm-hmm. He said, you have a chance.
You work with me, you go places.
He said, you have a chance to have a starring role in the next upcoming Marine
movie.
My
God, stop talking about the damn Marine.
He's been talking about this shit for years. It's not coming out, bro. It's not.
Stop making Marine.
I don't even think they have a movie division of WWE anymore. I don't think that exists. So
how many is it?
That's a pipe dream, bro.
Was it 5 Marines they had?
That's a pipe dream.
Wasn't the first one fucking John Cena?
Yep.
Then wasn't it Randy Orton for one, I think? And then it was just Miz. Oh, God. No more Marines. You put Shawn Michaels and Becky Lynch in the last one, the movie still sucked. I mean, no more Marines, please. Should have said Miz and Miz or something.
He said they might be on there too. He said, and
you had to hang around with Maurice for an hour.
He talked about some money and all of this, and he told him he needs them to be stealth and on top of it, looking for Dexter Lumis or whatever. But they're dubbed the Miz Force and sent out to find Dexter Lumis. I said Lucas. Next up, we have a great match. Rey Mysterio versus Seth Rollins. Of course, this match is what it's been for the last couple weeks, though, so I'm going to skip the details of it. Basically, Dominic comes out for distraction during the match and tries to get his father to hit him with a chair or something. As he attempts to, he doesn't do it. He takes the chair from him like, no, I'm not going to do this, mijo. Why do you keep bothering me like this, mijo? He gets snuck from behind by whatever member of the Judgment Day that you would like to choose. This time it was Rhea Ripley, but I mean, you could have slid, I don't know, Damian Priest into that spot, or Finn Balor.
Finn Balor with his headband.
Either way,
like an Irish Tupac.
We'll get to Finn later.
Sorry, I jumped the gun. That shit just hurt me.
We'll get to Finn later. No. Okay. Anyway, so As he's on the outside, all of that happens with the chair. As I said, this distraction leads him to being tossed back in the ring after he gets snuck by Rhea Ripley. Stomp. Then he gets choked out for the finish after about 17 minutes. So far, I love how he's pacing this show. I would say that matches are getting time. Next up, as they're walking, actually before this, Bob Riddle's watching the match backstage. Bobby Lashley comes up and said, "We both know MMA is really about. I want you to go in there and kick his ass in the fight pit. You know, you don't walk out. It's either you either tap out or you get knocked out or whatever." So he said you want to knock his ass out. And here's the best part of the promo. Though he said, "So last week you came in and helped me and had my back. Thanks. Also want to let you know." Don't ever do that again. Riddle was like, sorry, bro. But that was still cool. I was like how he lightweight checked him, but it still was like his boy though. Like, don't do that again. Anyway.
I need your help.
Yeah.
Thanks though. No, thanks.
Yeah, it's as far as the night pick, knock Rollins' teeth out. Then they had the next match where they were walking to the ring. Johnny Gargano and Kevin Owens saw one of Miz Fortune's laying down on the ground holding his head, and he looks at him like, the fuck? It's like, all right, whatever. So next match is Johnny Gargano versus Kevin Owens in Alpha Academy. This match got 12 minutes and 50 seconds. What it basically came down to is that first, Kevin Owens loves diving off of things.
Yes.
He's almost New Jacket with it. A little less depth to fight, but still. So he dove off of the side of the ring barricade and the outside behind the table and put Otis through the table with the running elbow drop, basically. So that was pretty dope. As that happened, back in the ring, Johnny Gargano was taking care of business. Cue Austin Theory to come in with the distraction on Gargano, though, allowing Gable to hit a Dominator DDT, but only got two. Gargano super kicks Theory, and then hit the one final beat on Gable for the victory. About 12 minutes and 50 seconds. So they stand tall after that. Of course they would, because they're in Canada. Knew that was going to happen. AJ Styles is walking to the ring next. He's interrupted by Finn Balor. He's asking him to join the Judgment Day. He says, I watch my own back. I don't need your help. Chad Curtis and Otis are backstage arguing with Austin Theory. So I thought you could beat this guy. He said, yeah, I thought I could, but we're distracted by Braun Strowman running through my man last week, and we're going to get that guy next week. And all of a sudden, Austin Theory gets a call on his phone, and it's from Braun Strowman, and he puts it on speaker. And then you talking shit, I'm going to beat your ass next week, basically, in the match.
Like, it's for you. Like, for me, he got all happy. I put a county to check there, like, bro, you so cheap.
He said, shoosh, please. At the end of it, so that was funny. Next, this shit is hilarious. So, almost has a stop match with two guys, Greg Lesnar and Joe Gibson. I don't know who was which. They didn't really clarify one was the other. MVP's on commentary, almost throws the man to the outside to start, beats him up on the floor, beats him back up on the inside, hits a choke bomb to set up a double pin at 1 minute and 40 seconds. The best part about it, they kept teasing like Braun Strowman, basically them facing each other like that's looming or something because they're both two big men. But post-match, Otis stacks them up on the announcer table and poses on top of them. Here's the best part, though. The best part of the whole shit. So, as they go to the outside, I'll say the guy that had the pink gear on, because I don't remember, like, I can't associate with, I know their names, but I can't put the name with each dude. So the guy that had the pink gear on, when he gets to the outside of the ring, he gets the life kicked out of him by Omos. The life. And the moment it happened, MVP jumps up and he's like, what did he say? He's say, welcome to the great white no! He just starts singing his song. The instant he got the life kicked out of him, he's like, oh, welcome to the great white no! And he said some other line. He said it's heavy dying, bro. And then he just threw him back in the ring, basically pinned him after that. But MVP had me crying on that one. So that was the best part of that squash match. That was fucking hilarious. Miz keeps finding his security knocked out all over the stadium.
Even in squash matches, though, you get entertainment, though.
That was funny as shit. Plus, Decker Loomis dressed as a hockey statue. Loomis knocks Miz out and then Kratos his head for a bonus. Next up, we get another squash match. We get Nikki Ash versus the returning Candice LeRae. Yay! I wasn't sure she was gonna come back. because there hasn't really been rumors about it at all. I kind of figured, but maybe she was enjoying motherhood. So people don't have to come back from that. So she did though.
I liked it because Johnny teased it. Johnny was like, maybe he was like maybe she, his daughter, he like maybe she wasn't my only wrestling partner. Like you feel like, oh, he put it after she came back. I'm like, but okay though, but nice.
As she comes out, Lorraine knocked her to the floor to start, but a baseball slide is caught in the ring, skirts her ass pounds away. Back in, Candace hammers away, setting a backstabber as catches her on top, but Mrs. Lorraine. Wild ride, a middle rope swinging neck breaker for the pin. At a minute 40 seconds. Next up, they show a preview video for Logan Paul, Roman Reigns, which isn't even till not Clash at the Castle, Crown Jewel or something like that, which y'all on the pay-per-view before that even comes up. So, Damian Priest isn't worried about Matt Riddle tonight because his family is with him. AJ Styles versus Sami Zayn. So Sikoa at ringside for this one. Sami grabs a headlock to start, then runs him over, meaning he could throw up the one. Backtrigger puts Zayn down for a change, but he's back up with the elbow to the head for 2. Styles gets knocked outside, but comes right back with the slug away. Fires McCary, neckbreaker, looks to set up Styles clash, which doesn't work so soon. Instead, Styles settles for a torture rack neckbreaker for 2, and Zayn is sent to the outside for a change. The slingshot forearm connects, and we take a break to come back from break with Styles being sent hard into the corner, but managing to counter an exploder suplex into a roller for 2. Sammy's right back with a boot to the face, Blue Thunder Bomb for 2 also, and sends him into frustration. Styles sent to the outside, knocked at the timekeeper's area, leaving him to hit a back dive, to dive back in to beat the count. They slug it out again and exchange kicks to the head for a double knockout. Take another break, come back from break. This time, this match was 20 minutes. But that's what I meant about the show. If you notice, that was about the theme every match. 17 to 20 minutes. The squash match, there were 2 squash matches thrown in there too, but you still got about 6-7 matches in on Raw, and everyone felt like they were at their proper length, to be honest with it. And I'm a stickler for how our card goes. I talk about that shit constantly. They take another break, come back in. Zayn having to fight out of Styles class. Instead, Zayn guards on the floor to suplex into the corner for a breather. Calf crusher sends Sami Zayn bailing to the ropes, followed by a jawbreaker to Sacker Styles. Sammy gets sent to the outside where Sikoa grabs a rock bottom onto the apron, back in, and a haluva kick finishes. A haluva kick for Sammy gets the victory. Post-match, Judgment Day are there to offer Styles a spot, and the team begins. Styles flips them off and gets beaten down with Finn Balor loading up the chairs around his neck. Pillmanizing is loaded up, but Balor cuts himself off, saying that's not what friends do.
Yeah.
Basically. Candice LeRae doesn't think much of damage control, but she and Bayley can fight later, is what she says. Matt Riddle versus Damian Priest is your main event. This is another match that went... You gonna guess or no? Not gonna guess? No.
17, 20 minutes?
18 minutes. 18 minutes, 50 seconds. Answer that real quick, please. Rest of Judgment Day is here too. Priest shoves Riddle down to start. Riddle counters the suplex into a choke, which doesn't last long. They trade missed kicks. Oh, yeah, it keeps turning. My fault. Bang. Gotcha. Thank you, sir. Riddle counters suplex into a choke, which doesn't last that long. They trade missed kicks to the head, and that's good for our early standoff. Priest gets dropped, and the Broton gives Riddle 2. Back up, Priest kicks him hard in the face. Riddle manages to pull him to the outside. Skip ahead a little bit in this match. We got a lot, so we got to cover for the rest of this week. Once they get back in, Anita face drops Priest again. They get right back up to shove Riddle off the top for who's crash. Priest drops him hard again, and we take a break. We come back again with Riddle hitting a superplex for 2, and they're both down. A slug out from their knees goes to Riddle, who hits Bro Derek for 2. Back up, Riddle, Ripley distraction lets Priest hit something like a swinging downward spiral for 2. Riddle flips out of a chokeslam, but the RKO is blocked. Instead, it's the jumping knee to the face, which draws Balor up for the distraction. Another chokeslam is loaded up, where Riddle reverses into a cradle pin at about 18 minutes, 50 seconds. Post-match, there's a beatdown is on, but Edge is there to make the save. Edge clears the ring and says he's tired of dealing with Judgment Day. That's why the Extreme Rules. Edge wants Balor in the I Quit match. Balor stares up at Edge to end the show. So there were 7 matches on the show. 2 were squash matches. One match went about 12 minutes, which was the Owens match. All the other matches averaged at least 17 minutes, if not more.
All good competition too.
Good balance of the show. That's in a row.
All right. Going to NXT. NXT was a funny one. So, now we're going to start this NXT off because I left out a spoiler and I left it out for a reason. Dragunov is back! Yes! Injects himself into the number one contendership match. So now it's going to be a triple threat now. Now, he said, I beat a monster to win go, and I'm ready to do it again. He said, this time it's not Gunter, though. It's Braun Breaker. Out comes JD. He calls Dragunov a sneaky, dirty little rat and said, I hope that your ankle is healed. He said, I will offer to end your career, but then here comes Breaker. Breaker said the title ain't going anywhere. But JD had the idea. He said, how about me versus Breaker with me being there to face the winner? He said, no, that don't work. Because if my math correct, you have a 33 1/3% chance of winning. You bought off Steiner math. The correct version of Steiner math, by the way, not Scott Steiner. What he say? How did the Steiner math go again? He said, you got 33rd and 0.8%.
He said, consider this a three-way match. You got a 33rd and 3% chance of defeating me in this match. But then consider it fast. That takes his percentages down.
Well, Braun Breaker said it the right way. He said you got 33 1/3% chance of winning. Crowd goes crazy for that because it's Steiner math. So, and he said, I'll see them at Halloween Havoc. Next, Gallus, Briggs, and Brooks Jensen are fighting in the back. Mandy Rose said she hopes Alba Fire is watching because she has a match. Schism is ready for Cameron Grimes. Of course, always the Schism again. So we have Fallon Henley versus Mandy Rose. Non-title match. Toxic Attraction is here. Rose knocks her into a corner, hits a domino scratch, hits another one. Fallon gets a hip toss, hits a swinging face plant for two, rub shoulder off, sets off the running knee. The running knee at 5 35 part. First part, Barrett's like, she keep knocking them out with those American titles. She had like these American like tights on. Mandy Rose like, I'm like to snap and she be in there kicking her.
I was wondering what you was about to get at.
Anyway, post-match, Rose said this is Alba's Fire last warning. Fire pops up on the screen. She said, I'm more of a visual person. And then likes the words and new on fire. Apollo Crews has a vision of Grayson Waller with terrified eyes. Dragunov runs into Zion Quinn. Said Dragunov is a lot of hype. He said, I want a chance to run that ball. Dragunov said, I don't think you're that bright. They have a match later tonight. North American title match. Wesley versus Tony D'Angelo. Now this match, unfortunately, it starts off Stacks and D'Angelo filling out process. Lee knocks him to the floor. Stack gives some time to cut off the dive, so Stack gets the dive instead, which gets him ejected. Now this is the part that was the name. So D'Angelo hits a chin lock. Lee sends him into the corner. And at this point, I think he like severely like hurt his leg because they like had to stop the match. You like get like limped off, so like it looked like a real serious knee injury. So I hope it's nothing like real serious that he can get back soon. So no matter, because neither one of these guys are going to win a match anyway. Hayes and Trick Williams said they don't care about Wes Lee, but here come Oro Mensah to interrupt. Hayes said, I can do good things for you, but at Halloween Havoc is every man for theyself. We get another promo for us, so Ruka again. Now, are you ready for a day in the life of Pretty Deadly?
No. Yeah, boy.
They wake up at 10 a.m. and have breakfast in bed. Choose their wardrobe at 11.
Let me guess, they sleep in the same bed.
Yes, they do. Then at 2 p.m. it's time for them to spend an hour working on their hair. Then they go to the gym wearing their titles. And they wear them while they work out. Then they sleep next to each other. Yeah.
That's it, huh?
Yeah. So we get Amari Miller versus Sol Ruka. And this, of course, I told you she's a surfer. This is her gimmick. She basically beats her in like 3 minutes. Like, so it's a squash. So there's probably somebody else they're trying to build up. We still got Gallus Briggs and Jensen fighting again. Cameron Grimes versus the spam guy, Joe Gacy. Grimes kicks at the ribs. Gacy heads outside. He rams Grimes into the apron. Grimes fights up. Takes out both Dyad. Gacy hits a swinging rock bottom for a 2. Misses the second one. The super kick dropped Gacy. Dyad offered a distraction. Gacy hit the handspring lariat for the win. Don't care. Next, Grayson Waller is frustrated with Apollo Crews for what's wrong with his eye and that vision. So Crews, anyway, Waller is going to have extra security for his talk show because it's not going to happen next week. Next, we get Nikita Lyons versus Kaden Carter. And of course, Zoe Stark and Katana Chance are here too, their respective tag partners. Filling out process, Lyons knocks her into a corner, running headshots out the corner. Mickey no-shoe driver. Carter knocks her down, running kick to the face. Lyons gets a 2. Spinning kick to the head. Split splash 4 minutes, so she basically beats Kaden Carter with B. They're basically going to get next shot at the tag team titles. We have a pep rally for Chase U because they beat Hayes and Trick Williams last week. Only to get told that, yeah, your qualifying match is against Von Wagner. Good luck with that, buddy. He says he's ready to move on and open the floor with questions. Somebody named Dave asked, why should we believe you can beat Wagner? Chase like, do you think that's a 5-star question? And he basically promises he's going to win. That was their take on the medium scrum. They throwing their shots at the medium scrum and AEW. I assume when they were doing that. Diane Quinn versus Dragunov. Headlock. Dragunov gets the better of it. A down no squash. Quinn slips out. Corner for a running shot to the face. Backbreaker to Dragunov and a splash for 2. Dragunov hits a jumping insecurity. Suplex. Plex. Torpedo, undisclosed location, finish Diane Quinn. Next we get Brutus Creed versus Damon Kemp. Brutus basically starts this shit early. They start with some grappling. Basically, Kemp basically is playing pussy mode here. He's trying to avoid him. He's grabbing people. Creed fights off, gets the cradle, then Kemp basically gets a chair and just hits him with the chair and gets the DQ. This DQ. Next we get Zoe Stark. Oh wait, my fault. Your boy Quincy Elliott, the super diva, gives a pep talk. Sanga appreciates, and then with him going, Diane Quinn comes in, and Elliott said Elliott doesn't see the X factor in him, then he leaves. Zoe Stark and Nikita Lyons said they're ready to win a women's tag team championship. Toss the Tragic come in and laugh in their face. Then basically they getting ready to fight. Then Alba Fire comes to the corner of them, so it's basically like 3-on-3. 3. Again, she does the thing. She starts like a fire again, and they all run like hell. We got a pub rules match between Gallus, Brooks, Jensen, and Josh Briggs. I'm sick and tired of people. It's a street fight. Can we just say street fight? Like street fight. Joe Coffey is banned from ringside. They basically brawl. Go back inside. Gallus brings out a table. Jensen grabs his own table, but a bunch of chair shots drop Gallus. Gallus come back in control, and it's a bunch of weapons in the ring. Jensen and Briggs get whooped with belts. You know, they like country boys. You know, they like, what's the name with their belts. Jensen and Briggs then fight up, and they start whipping their own. Glass is broken over Gallus. Mark is put upside down in the trash can. Coffee, who gets booted off the apron and through the table. Wolfgang goes through the table as well. They hit a high low to Mark into the trash can for the win. So your winner of this match is Jensen and Briggs. And basically the end of this show basically ends up with Gallus basically so pissed off with the fact that they lost, they basically is beating up everybody. Referees, security, cops. They beating up cops. They beating up everybody that get in between them. Got themselves suspended and definitely by Triple H for this. They might be going to the street. I was like watch them. Like they were beating up everybody, bro. Like all of them. Whoever you put out there, if you would have went out there, they would have beat you up too. They were beating the fuck out of everybody. Everybody that got in the way of that. So and that was the end of NXT. So up and down show wasn't a good NXT. The Raw was better, but basically it was national storyline. So I kind of get where they was going.
All right, so on to this week's Dynamite. This show, not as good as last week's show, we'll admit. But it wasn't a bad show at all. He had some developments here. Let's get into some of those. So this one starts off with a celebration of the Jericho Appreciation Society, who come out with this guy, Luigi Primo, who makes some New York pizza, but for nobody in the crowd because the place is all full of losers. Anna Jay says none of you deserve pizza. It's all about Jericho and threats to choke out everybody because it's shaken by.
Stop with that.
She gets shaken by "We Want Pizza" chant.
Stop. Please find something for her to do. I'm tired of her trying to choke people out.
Jericho gets on the mic and says he's the most watched and viewed Ring of Honor World Champion of all time. The night he's ready to take out Bandito, who no one saw as Ring of Honor Champion because no one watches Ring of Honor. Jericho even has a present for Daniel Garcia in the form of a giant purple Gilligan's hat. That's Farmer Garcia, who drops Primo with a punch and says this is all too much. Garcia thinks it's time for it, and Jericho covers his mic and says, we need to talk about this. Cue Daniel Bryan, so he comes out and says, yeah, it's time for you to make up your mind. With Jericho saying Garcia is with, Jericho saying Garcia is with him. Garcia gets in Jericho's face and says he can make up his own mind. He asks, he says that thing would entertain Jericho like making pizza or teaming with Danielson against Jericho and Sammy Guevara. Matt Menard says he had it, said he wants to fight Garcia or maybe punch Danielson in the face. That's cool with Danielson, who said he's ready to do the match right now. They continue from here. You get the match. Dan Bryan versus Matt Menard. Just went about 8 minutes, 40 seconds. William Regal on commentary. Continues, I ain't gonna call it, some people call it flirting. I won't call it that. But his weird relationship with Excalibur when he calls him a juicy little tart or something like that. This week he calls him a Rice Krispie treat who can snap, crackle, and pop him anytime.
That's flirting.
Basically. Danielson kicks him into the corner.
Like, what the hell wrong with you?
He kicks him into the corner, but Money Menard gets a cheap shot in and knocked to the outside. We take a break. Back with Danielson getting caught by a distraction from Angelo Parker, allowing Menard to grab a German suplex. Cue Claudio Castagnoli to pick up Parker and carry him to the back like a bag of light groceries. Running knee sets up the bell block and makes Menard tap. Next up, they show a video of Juice Robinson beating up Jon Moxley in New Japan because they have a match tonight. Next is a video of MJF, basically recapping what happened last week. Here comes out Wheeler Yuta instead of scheduled MJF. He didn't like MJF pushing Tony Schiavone down last week, who's done more for AEW than MJF ever could. Yuta calls MJF out right now, but says MJF is going behind people's back instead. After mocking MJF's cheap heat, Yuta calls him out again. This time MJF shows up with a New York Mets jersey on. This show's in Philly. Division rivals. MJF rips on Schiavone and Philadelphia for saying Yuta is one of the best wrestlers in the world today. Then Yuta made the mistake of trying to talk with him last week, and Daddy had to put him in his place and time out. Yuta had as much charisma as Joe Frazier, and he's dead. MJF, who is another Philly guy, MJF mocks the Phillies and says he doesn't care because he makes more money than anyone in this bum-ass town. Yuta comes up the ramp to chase him down. Gun Club comes out and stand guard. And Jeff says he'll fight him next week and watch the DC. No, Philly doesn't deserve to hear his catchphrase. So the Gun Club do it instead. So video of Darby Allin versus Jay Lethal set for next week. Then we get Moxley versus Juice Robinson, non-title. Robinson jumps Moxley on the floor to send him to the barricade before the bell. Moxley fights back and sends Robinson back into the barricade as MJF is watching from the skybox. By the way, I believe Juice Robinson may be a free agent, and I wouldn't be surprised if he signs with AEW.
Is he a free agent?
His wife's already there. I believe I heard this a while ago that this contract is probably up with AEW or whatever. Not AEW, but with New Japan. Yep. So maybe he's ready to come back to the States. I mean, his girl's already working here. Anyway, this match goes about 10.5 minutes. The back end, they slug it out some more until Moxie gets back, dropped to the floor. Come back from break, Moxie running him over and grabbing an ankle lock. That's broken up with the grab of the rope, so Moxie hammers away in the corner. Robson sends him into the buckle, though. And Pulp Fiction, the jumping on Prettier, gets a 2 count. Moxie back up with the regal knee, a bunch of stomps. Across armbreaker makes Robinson tap. About 10 minutes, 30 seconds. Moxley got busted open this one, as he gets busted open in basically every match he's ever in. Post match, Heyman Page comes out for a stare down with the bleeding Moxley. MJF interrupts them both from the skybox. Jessica cashes chip in after their October 18th title match. Then Willie pops up behind him and starts beating them down. Next up, they have a video of Bandito, who's going to face Chris Jericho in the main event. Saraya debuted last week. They played a video for that. She's out to have a chat next. Says that she is the revolution and that this is her house, but she's ignoring the time cues because she's not leaving until she's ready. Saraya wants the women's division out here so we can get Tony Storm and a few others. Only to have Britt Baker and company cut them off. Britt Baker makes fun of how to pronounce Saraya's name, but Saraya and Baker's name says Baker's last name rhymes, or what? Her first name rhymes with shit.
Yeah.
Britt, shit.
Yeah.
Britt brings up Storm being ready to lose to Serena Deeb, so let's get her out of here for the scheduled title match right now. Saraya says, hang on a second, because now she has a boss that listens to her. I guess that was a WWE shot. So this is a lumberjack man.
By the way, when she said that, it was a whole bunch of people that got upset. It was a Vince shot, not a Triple H shot. It was a Vince shot. Like, she felt like she had to go on Twitter and clarify that. Like, no, you didn't have to. We knew who you were talking about. Talking about, she said she loved working for
so many people get butthurt that are WWE fans, bro. It happens. Anyway.
She felt like she needed to clear that up, but like.
So this is a lumberjack match.
And Vince is a shit boss. I mean, makes sense.
Interim world title, Tony Storm versus Serena Deeb. Storm defending Saraya on commentary. Deeb works over the arm to start, but Storm is right back with some shots to the head. Storm sends her to the outside and a heap though, and it's a big shouting match with the lumberjacks to be take a break. Back with Storm getting two off a high crossbody, but Deeb pulls her into a neck lock. That's broken up. Hayter trips her to the mat. Hayter gets chased to the back by Willow Nightingale, leaving Deeb to grab the Serenity lock. That's broken up. Storm back drops her and hits another high crossbody. On that, Deeb roll her up into a half crab. Storm gets out again and Storm hits Storm 0 for 2 and a surprisingly near fall. Deeb goes up top where Storm catches her with a super power driver for the pin at about 11 minutes 17 seconds. The Acclaim next have open title challenge on Rampage. Keith Lee comes in and gets a Billy Gunn's face, seeming like he may take that challenge, but we'll see. Private Party are yelling at Butcher and the Blade. Jose exists to come in and tell Private Party to get their shit together or get fired. Matt Hardy tells Private Party to quit and get out of the deal because he's waiting for them. Next up, squash match, 48 seconds. Ricky Stark versus Eli Isam. Spear, Rochambeau. That was the match. Next up, video of Luchasaurus, Christian Cage versus Jungle Boy. And then we have our main event. Ring of Honor World Title match. Bandito was challenging Chris Jericho. They shake hands, and then Bandito flips him off, earning a shot to the face. Bandito sent him to the outside, hits a big flip dive. Possibly banging his knee up as he did it. We get a break, or banging up his leg, I should say. Come back in with Bandito hitting a very longly delayed vertical suplex, but needing some time to group up as well. Go ahead.
He had like equipment, like what's the name? He had to adjust his equipment.
So
it wasn't like
okay. A frog splash with
so
Eddie.
Not hurt, wasn't the knee, just
Good.
equipment.
I'm glad to hear that. I heard they're trying to sign him full time. They just recently signed Roosh to a full time contract.
He signed him full time. Damn it, the ROH. I mean,
a frog splash with Eddie Dance gets to, but Jericho is back with the code breaker back up, and they fight to the apron with Bandito hitting a hurricanrana to the floor. We take a break and come back with Bandito hitting a springboard sunset bomb for 2, followed by a crucifix bomb for the same. We get the X knee loaded up, but Jericho reverses into the walls. That's broken up into a rope grab by Bandito, who catches him with a kick to the head on top. The X knee is hit. 21 Plex gets 2, so Jericho messes with the mask. That's enough for Lion Tamer to tap out at 18 minutes 20 seconds to retain the title. Post-match, Jericho says he's coming for every former Ring of Honor champion, and he'll start with Brian Danielson, on October 12th. Then he kicks the ring announcer Bobby Cruz low and gives him a Judas effect.
Oh God!
To end the show.
Yeah.
And that was Dynamite.
Jericho.
That was Dynamite from this week.
Why you doing Jericho? Stop that Jericho. You know it's funny as hell. All right, SmackDown. We're gonna start off with Madcap Moss and Ricochet versus Solo Sikoa and Sami Zayn. I love these two, like a buddy cop tag team. By the way, Zayn is a actual Oos. He got a shirt from Reigns last week, just an honorary Oos on it. So, but to the dismay of Jey Uso, it's so funny. I give Jey Uso props for last week because he was so happy, like, yeah, dad. They show up and he got straight like really? Like, yeah. Ricochet heads to their Sami to start it off. Drop kick. Moss, Solo come in. Took it down the corner for a stomp. Back to Zayn, everything breaks down. Moss launches Ricochet over the top to take both of them out. Ricochet is fighting out when we come back from commercial break, but he gets Samoan drop for 2. Another Samoan drop is countered by some elbows. Moss gets the hot tag. He cleans house. So, Solo grabs a chair, which allows Zayn to hit a Blue Thunder Bomb for 2. Everything breaks down. Sami Zayn breaks up Ricochet's dive. Ricochet gets away and tries to dive, but poor Ricochet. So as Ricochet goes to try to dive, Solo basically throws the chair and decks Ricochet. He goes right in the chair. Then he tags himself in, hits a spinning wheel kick on Moss, and he sets up the swinging Solo, which basically is just the Rock bottoms up. He's swinging as he do it, though, for the pin. So that was good. Post match, Solo tried to beat down Moss, and Sami Zayn come like, come on, calm down. Now we go to the locker room. They head backstage. Jey Uso, who wasn't supposed to be here tonight, per orders of Reigns, opens the locked door. Uso said he's proud of Solo, but that's it. He heads into the locker room, leaving Jey to say he see right through Sammy. This is Zayn's one shot, so Jey tells him don't dare think about putting the family in jeopardy. Zayn says, "Oh, take it up with Roman." And heads into their locker room. So, and Jey is still pissed about that because basically, he basically say like, "Hey, you got a problem with me? Take that up with Big Oos." He said I'm part of y'all now. So, Karrion Kross said he's ready to take out Drew McIntyre. Austin Theory said he's happy to see Drew McIntyre humiliate at Clash of Champions. McIntyre is missing the mental ability. How did he not see Solo come after him? McIntyre grabs Theory by the shoulder and tells him get in the ring right now. Well, here comes Alpha Academy. They are with Austin Theory. McIntyre gets took down to start, but he gets caught with a future shot, loads up the Claymore, but Alpha Academy comes in for the DQ. Here comes the beatdown, but here comes Johnny Gargano. So, Johnny Gargano and Kevin Owens, they teamed last week, on that Raw, right? Mm-hmm. So they come down for the save, but they come down to their own separate entrances. So it's like Johnny Gargano first. He comes in. It's kind of like the old Attitude Era. Remember, say The Rock will come in, you'll hear his music, and then Stone Cold will come in right behind him, then you'll hear his music, right after, they did it like that.
Right.
The Maximum Male Models. They said they're ready to bring home a title to make things better for Max Dupree. He's slowly going back into his LA Knight phase.
Yeah.
He said he's thrilled at the idea of y'all facing the Usos. But that means the title. No, he said he's thrilled at the idea of them two facing the Usos. But they like, no, not that title. The title for longest time holding the pose. He gets salty as they walk. He gets salty as he walk off. Shotzi said she's ready for Bayley tonight. Hit Row versus Los Lothario. B-Fab is here. The Dons get taken down by Andrew to start, which means you already know what he's about to do. He does think he takes off his pants. He throws him at Top Dollar, though, which leads to Adonis for a net breaker. Then he tags me and Dollar basically. So he got a running knee. He called it the Tennessee Whiskey. That's the name of it. Which sets up the El Rey, which is a jumping elbow. Then he hits a wasteland fall-away slam combination to set the heavy hitter to finish for Humberto at 2 minutes and 24 seconds. So he basically got squashed. Ronda Rousey said she's not worried about Liv Morgan, but is considering a baseball bat. Which leads to our next match, Ronda Rousey versus Natalya. Rousey basically takes her to the mat without no effort. Natalya basically reverses it. Rousey knees her in the ribs. Running is countered with a power bomb. Sharpshooter is countered to an ankle lock, which Natalya breaks up. Back with a discus lariat, but Ronda ankle locks her for the win in like 4 minutes. Post match, Liv Morgan comes out with a baseball bat. This is the part that's funny. So she comes out with the baseball bat, and she goes to swing it. Ronda Rousey basically just took that bitch from her. like it was like she wasn't shit. Like, give me this. Like, this is my bad. They go into they find to the timekeeper area. As they basically break them up. Ronda teases using the bat, but then she just does this. She just like throws it up and just said, "I don't need that to beat her." Beat her. This after she really like they're flying over bat. She like talk Liv over the barricade like with the bat, with the strength of her in the back. Liv basically charges Ronda Rousey from behind. So now they're brawling again. They gotta get held back. This time again, Ronda breaks away again. They still keep brawling. By the way, Liv was wearing these fighting she's doing all this brawling. She's wearing these nice ass blue and black Nikes. Nikes. I like the redder ones I got in my house up there. Hers was blue though. Next we get Drew McIntyre, Kevin Owens, and Johnny Gargano in the back. And Drew McIntyre basically say, yeah, you gotta be careful with who your partners are. And Kevin Owens thing for turning on partners. He's like, I'm just kidding, man. He's like, we all on common ground now. We're all good. KO looks a little offended by that. So KO's walking backstage. This is the part that's funny. So they're both. So Maxine is right there, and he's walking by to Maxine. He's like, hey, tell him to put his arm up a little bit higher, make the pose better. As he walks up, then he sees Sammy right there, who's sitting there, and they look at you. And he said, "You need a new shirt, buddy," and just walks up, walks his way to the ring. Next, Shinsuke and Sonya Deville walk by him next, and they have no idea what the hell they're doing, so they just like look at each other and just walk off. Imperial is here for a chat. Gunter said he's ready to beat Sheamus again next week, and then beat all the brawling brutes at Extreme Rules. Sheamus interrupts and said he's on his own this week because the brutes are stuck in Florida. He's ready to fight, and he uses Shillelagh to take out Kaiser and Vinci. Gunter, who wants the club drop, Sheamus drops it. They get back up and hold Sheamus down. They basically beat him down. Gunter lays him out with a Shillelagh to the face. Bayley is ready to take out Shotzi. Even Io Sky and Dakota are stuck in Florida. Then she's winning the title at Extreme Rules. The commentary mentioned the fact that Antonio Ioki has passed away. Now, probably my favorite part of the show. I'm wearing this shirt for a reason. She has her tank back. Look, you gonna get the hat, get the tank. You're gonna roll out with the tank how you used to. Big reaction she get. Bayley takes her down, sends her throat person to the bottom rope. Shotzi winds up going up but get caught. Only to send Bayley outside when we go to break. Shotzi jumping over Bayley. She misses the charge in the corner, which sets up the Rose Clan. Bayley gets to win. So, that was it. After that, she gives her another, Bayley gives her another Rose Plant, pulls out a ladder. Out comes Bianca Belair, who runs in for the save. Bayley bails. The miles are close. This is the part that's funny. So the miles are close to breaking the record for longest pose. Matt Dupree breaks it up.
That was for real. All right, go ahead. It's hilarious.
Mac Dupree breaks it up. He takes off the M belt and said, "This was never for you. Never for you." Nah, he basically said it was never for you. And then it's funny because Graves was like, "Oh, I haven't been this sad since Sean King Marty through the barbershop window."
Who said that?
Corey Graves. I'm like, you use that analogy. Then we get to our main event. It's just a 6-man tag match between Drew McIntyre, Johnny Gargano, Kevin Owens versus Alpha Academy and Austin Theory. We hear about McIntyre and Gargano. They talk about their history. They was the Evolve Tag Team Champions at one point in time. Gargano basically takes him down, tags in Owens. Here goes Owens again, flipping off shit. Flips off the apron. Takes out both Theory and Gable. Gable gets off 2 Northern suplexes. We come back from break, turns them into an arm bar. Owens gets the hot tag, start cleaning house. DDT Theory, Fisherman Buster on Gable. Cannonball sets up the Swan Time on Gable, but a kick to the face drops him. Everything breaks down. Owens runs McIntyre over to the floor. Bunch of super kicks. Kicks Rock Otis. Gargano like he hurt his ankle in this match. Stunner to Gable Stunner on Gable on the announce table. Claymore for the pin at 9 minutes and 41 seconds. Post match, McIntyre gets the strap out and basically beats the shit out of Theory to end the show. So that's the end of SmackDown. That's the end of my shows for the week.
All right, down to the last show for the week. All right, so let's talk about this Rampage, baby. Opens with the tag team titles, Massey Acclaim in the 3-way against, the Butcher and the Blade versus Private Party. Once again. The Acclaim with Billy Gunn defending. Bones Cassidy start things off as Matt Hardy is watching in the back to trade quick 1 counts as fans singing praise of the Acclaim and standoff. Gives a handshake before Bones dives Cassidy into the corner for a tag off the caster. With Cassidy down, don't throw that away. Keep that. I'm going to use it in a second. Just keep it. I'll explain later. Caster stops for some scissoring with Gunn before Bones comes in for the neck breaker on the caster's knee. Quinn gets in the middle, rope leg drop between the legs. That's enough for Butcher and the Blade, who come in and run the champs over. Bones fights back up and quickly headbutt it right back down. Take a break, cut back of Bones, powering out of the Blade's chin lock, but getting power slammed instead. Super kick drops the Blade hard, but his Private Party tagging themselves back in for a clean house. Private Party hits the Motor City Machine Gun, Skull and Bones with the Swan Time instead of a splash for 2 with Blade. On the Blade with Caster making a save. Everything breaks down again. Cassidy hits a dive of his own. Caster hits his own dive, sending Blade back outside, where it's on to the Arrival into the mic drop to retain the titles at about 10 minutes. Much scissoring was going on in the post-match commentary, in the post-match celebration. The firm mock FTR for holding various tag titles, which they can't remember anyway. The Gun Club wants to tag titles and bring up FTR for being number 1 contender for almost 6 months. They'll leapfrog FTR too. Basically what they alluded to. Jade Cargill mocks AEW for not giving her competition, but Vicky Guerrero shows up with Marina Shafir and Nyla Rose coming in. Finally, some good comp for her. I like to see where this is going. Jade Cargill says Rose can have a title match, but on Jay's time. Next up, squash match. Lee Moriarty versus Fuego del Sol. W. Morrissey and Stokely Hathaway are here, but Moriarty Fuego gets taken to the mat to start. Uppercutted against the ropes. Some stomps keeps Fuego in trouble. Border City stretch finishes him off. Minute and 50 seconds. After the match, he catches a choke slam for W. Morrissey. Heyman Page said he's ready for John Moxley, and the Dark Order will be in his corner. Did you hear what I said? I don't know if you missed it as you're coming up. So they finally, as we talked about it, they, continuity, I love that. They're giving Jade some new comp. That's actually halfway decent. Nyla Rose. Why'd you scream like a girl?
No, the cord.
Oh, okay. Nyla Rose. So
about time.
Yeah. So we'll see where that goes. That should be interesting. She has backup, so she won't just be alone having to go against Jade and the baddies. She got Marina Shafir and she got Vicky Guerrero. Where Vicky ain't gonna fight. She ain't gonna fight, but she'll say excuse me real loud. That might scare him off. I don't know. Anyway. Heyman Page says he's ready to take John Moxley, and the Dark Order will be in his corner. Andrade Alito and Jose the Assistant mock 10. Next week's the anniversary of Brody Lee's last match, so Andrade has an idea. They have a match next week with the match Brody gave 10 versus Andrade's career. That could be interesting. The firm comes in to mock Andrade and bring up Matt Hardy's contract tampering with Private Party. Willow Nightingale taking on Jamie Hayter. Some continuity from the Lumberjack match when Willow Nightingale ran off Jamie Hayter. Rebel and Britt Baker are here where Hayter Nightingale takes her down, fires off some headbutts until Hayter fights up with an exchange of shoulders. Hayter gets dropped for a basement cross body and a splash too. Some chops of Hayter in the corner in more trouble, but she's right back with a big boot to drop Nightingale hard. They go to break and come back, hitting a back breaker for 2. Nightingale pops up and hits a heck of a pounce to the floor to rock Hayter hard. Back in, and Death Valley Driver gets Nightingale too, so it's time to go to top. Baker offers a distraction though, and then it's a short arm clothesline to give Hayter the pin. 8 minutes and 8 seconds. Video of Wardlow and Samoa Joe because they recently had teamed together. Here's Ryan Nemeth to mock the various Philadelphia legends until Hook comes out and wrecks him. Hook is going to leave, but the Trustbusters come out with the envelope with his name on it, which Hook takes. So does that mean Hook is joining up with somebody new, or it's a contract signing of a new match, or what? We'll see. Next, I saw a video as far as Strickland at a music festival. I couldn't tell which music festival it was, or I mentioned it here on the show, as I said. Hangman Page video versus John Moxley, and then we have setting up for the main event and upcoming Dynamite shows. For example, that Trent Barretta is going to be taking on Pac for the All Atlantic Championship at Battle of the Belts, which would be the next week's Rampage, I do believe. Also, John Silver is ready for Roosh in the main event. Of course, you know, they have Mark Henry leading the way on that. Match in about 10 minutes, 55 seconds. Reynolds Andrade is in Jose the assistant are here too. Silver grabs a headlock to start. Running elbow sends Roos to the outside. The dive is loaded up, but Silver flips down into the Tranquilo pose for a nice touch. Roos comes back in, hammers on Silver, even knocking him down to the outside for a whip into the barricade. Back in, the running corner drop kick is loaded up. Only have Roos hit the cocky kick instead. We take a break, which is basically him running up, stopping real slick, and just lightly tapping with his foot on your face. We take a break and come back with Silver hitting some corner clotheslines, followed by a rolling German suplex. A sit-out powerbomb goes Silver 2, and it's time to slap it out. It goes into bigger, stronger, but Rouge and Silver grab a brainbuster for 2 more. Jose tries to interfere, but Reynolds pulls him down. The distraction does Rouge hit a running forearm in the corner, though, setting up the Bull's horns for the pin at 10 minutes and 55 seconds. Post-match, the beatdown is on with the Butcher and the Blade joining in. The rest of Dark Order and Hangman Page running for the save, though, to end the show. And that ends the week. Yeah. So what you got coming up next week, man? Give me a little bit of distraction while getting the other side of the board.
Oh, well, next week we have it. Next week we have it. You good. Next week we have Extreme Rules. Doing the thing, right?
Right?
Yeah. So we're gonna get into a little bit of that. Hopefully the card will be lined up. Of course, we're gonna do our predictions of. Well, no, we can't do predictions. Well, we're gonna do predictions, but we will announce them on the show though.
Yeah, we'll announce them.
Like we'll do the prediction and then we'll go over who we pick. Like after that, no, I mean in terms of that, I mean, right overall good wrestling week. I mean, a lot of oh snap! I think I did have something.
What's that, my friend?
I gotta remember it. I gotta pull it up. I think it involved Bobby Fish. Yeah.
Was the story about being not true that he was trying to bring Adam Cole and O'Reilly back to WWE?
He said that's not true.
Yeah, is he even officially back with WWE?
No,
for that matter.
he actually was on Impact.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So good to see him. At least he's out here in the wrestling world.
Yeah. And apparently, he said he's looking for a fight against legitimate competition and that the Impact locker room could satisfy his thirst. He said he wants to go to the top and challenge the Impact champion. And they have a Call Your Shot gauntlet. So, since Bound for Glory is in his hometown of Albany, New York, he feel like line stars are going to line up right there. So, I mean, he's on Impact now.
All right. We'll see if he can leave an Impact.
Oh, your boy Heath Slater too. Your boy Heath Slater apparently.
I know he's trying to go for the world title too.
No, he wants to win them tag team championships with Rhino again. He wants to.
Do you ever see the backstage interview over there at Impact?
I don't watch Impact all like that.
Oh, I can't remember her name, but she's pretty hot. Thought I'd bring it up.
I mean, I watch more Impact bring some people up, and my girl Tasha Steele though. you know, put on one of them shows, you know.
All right, brother, man. We only got so long left here on this card, so let's get out of here. For one half of Hot Tag Wrestle Corner, I'm Rob.
I'm Clint.
And I should have probably looked this up the whole time while you were talking, considering. But hey, I found it quick, so I don't have to bullshit that long. Ron Simmons, send us home. If I can cue it up.
Yeah.
Damn. All right, 2 hours 32 seconds. It's an hour 48 remaining on there. I mean, I guess it's enough to get in this week's, but I probably should buy SD cards. So I'll take care of that. I'm not gonna worry about it right now.